welcome all, one and all, to another episode of Christmas Time with a Detractor, or whatever I call this video series. One day I'll remember what I call this little show, but we're gonna watch all of, or at least most of, DSP's holiday specials. I'll just tell you right off the bat, this might run into next year, by the way, but that's fine. It's always good to start the new year with Christmas spirit, so, it's all good. It's all good, guys. Anyways, let's get started. Let's get this show on the road. This is the 2015 Christmas special. So, I hope you guys are excited. We have a lot of silence. Let's see, when does the show actually start?
Voice anybody, and therefore people will not be able to talk who join late.
Oh,
The different twinkle settings or whatever. And as I'm doing this, I go, wow, this is so fucking different. Seriously,
what?
This is, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a different experience. One game of the year and development team of the year was CD Projekt Red for The Witcher 3, and also. The fact that the Kojima controversy, that Hideo Kojima could not even attend.
Oh, Kojima controversy.
The Game Awards. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that.
Oh, shit. We're talking about that?
To that? I'll also be covering a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, about the Sony experience, or PlayStation experience. Because there were a few cool things that were revealed there, like Ni no Kuni 2.
Ni no
solid
Kuni?
release date for Dark Souls 3, stuff like that. I'll just briefly kind of chat a little bit about it. I don't want to go too much into detail about that, because there's going to be a second segment tonight, and it's going to be a holiday segment. That's right. It's going to be about the holidays.
Oh, boy.
I'm actually going to, number one,
do you have
be talking
timestamps
about
for
a
this?
little bit about
Okay, we do.
what Leanna and I have been doing recently to celebrate the holiday season. And then
Leanna?
the segment is primarily going to be a back in the day segment about when I was a kid, what it was like.
Contract changes.
Around this time of
Very
year,
important.
in regards to Christmas decorations and kind of Christmas traditions.
Oh, God, a rockathon.
I'm
Oh,
let you know
boy,
about some
that
of the Christmas
controversy.
traditions and things that my family did all the time, and what it was like to decorate a tree.
I think this is the one where DSP mentioned that kids stole his
when I
Christmas
grew up in the
decorations.
1980s.
You guys know he grew up in the 1980s?
Very different experience. It was actually funny because yesterday, I was downstairs in the hallway, standing in front of our Christmas tree, and we have this tree that has all these different lights that are adjustable and different settings and stuff. And I'm going through all the different light colors and the different twinkle settings or whatever. And as I'm doing this, I go, wow, this is so fucking different. Seriously, this is, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a different experience. And I looked at a light bulb, and I touched the light bulb.
This dude is talking like he's a fucking boomer, dude. Oh, back in my day, we didn't have twinkle settings. Whoa, man.
And it was ice cold, and so different from when I was a kid. I said, my God, I wonder how many people, in this day and age, wonder if they even know what it was like back then. With Christmas decorations and such. So I'm going to talk about it because it was a way different experience. I'm going to be honest, it was a hazardous experience. It was like, oh, time to decorate the Christmas tree, but your parents better be fucking nearby because you're going to either get electrocuted, burnt, cut. Like, seriously. And the hassle of some of the stuff, from when I was a kid, reminiscing. And that'll be perfect, obviously, for the season, I'm going to talk about it. That's going to be the back in the day segment of tonight's podcast.
Why does this feel like it's skipping?
So that's tonight's podcast, everyone. It's going to be good. That's going to be the back in the day segment of tonight's podcast.
Yeah, I think
that's tonight's podcast, everyone. It's going to be good. It's going to be the back in the day segment of tonight's podcast.
That's weird.
So that's tonight's podcast, everyone. It's going to be good. I'm excited for it. The first one in quite a long time. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, again, I just said this. I apologize in advance. It doesn't look like we have any mods tonight. I don't know what's going on that no mods have showed up for the chat.
No mods.
So
some things never change.
If we don't have any mods here on the stream chat, it means that once I start, I can't voice anybody.
Now, see, that's the real issue with no mods. honestly, the way he has it now, I mean, still no mods is pretty bad. But it was a nightmare back then because he used to run his own IRC chat on his own website. I know this is a long time ago, guys. Wow, guys, look how things changed, man. In the past, like 2015, you had to be like voice to talk in DSP's chat, but things are so different, man. Yeah, you couldn't talk in his chat until him or a mod gave you permission. You had to get permission to talk in his chat. And that's kind of why a lot of these like freedom chats that existed back then were a thing. Because you couldn't talk freely in his chat because once you're banned, you have to like hope that you can log back in under a different name. It was something.
And therefore people will not be able to talk who joined late. And I can't help that. I apologize for it. It is what it is. Also, it doesn't look like we have too many people on the podcast tonight, or the stream, is what I should say, the stream. And I've noticed that. Whenever I do a second stream, that the attendance has massively dwindled in the past several months. And so that is why one of the major changes that I am doing in 2016 is that there's not going to be late streams anymore. I'm going to be focusing more on, I'll do earlier gameplay. Will be my first stream will be earlier on. And then the second half of the day, I'll be taking that time to do stuff like vlogs a lot more often, talking about each news story and things as they happen rather than after the fact. I'll be doing a lot more edited content, like top 10s and best ofs and my favorite best and worst moments and or best and worst countdowns, and edited game reviews. A lot of stuff I'll be focusing on, okay? So, with needing that time, obviously it means I'm not going to be doing 2 gameplay streams a day. If I do have days where I game all day, I probably still won't stream the second half. It'll be like just the first part is what's streamed, and then my second sessions will be offline. Makes sense to do that, I think. Rather than say, I'm going to have a stream and then only a couple hundred people could show up. It's like, well, with all the hassle of getting the stream set up, working, coordinating, getting all the settings going, making sure the stream is working, giving a pre-stream, versus I could just start gaming. I think it just makes sense to just game. You know what I mean? So anyway, I digress. I'm trying to talk a little bit more to kind of extend before we start here, but
look at this. Look how gung-ho he was about getting to games. Now it's like we gotta do a pre-stream, we gotta like sit down for a bit, we gotta talk and stall. Back then he was right into the games.
I don't know if we're gonna get many more people on the stream tonight. It is what it is. I hope that people are gonna check this out on demand on the King of Hate vlogs. It's like I said, out of all the things I've done this year, out of all the stuff, the gameplay, the edited montages, the improved reviews, it's actually, of all things, it's been my podcast that's done the best. And what I mean by that is it's either remained consistent. It's either remained consistent or gotten even better over the year when it comes to how many people have been checking out my podcast. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool that people really enjoy hearing me talk about things that aren't necessarily just direct gameplay. And you know what? And that's why I want to expand the vlogging. And that's very much so maybe why this is the final podcast I'll ever be doing.
What?
Okay. But I'll talk about that on the podcast.
I want to do podcasts, but I'm gonna not do a podcast anymore. Okay. I agree.
All right, well, everyone, hope you're doing well. And I'm going to get started shortly. I know I'm not even seeing many more people joining the stream chat. Doesn't look like we have any mods for the stream chat tonight. I apologize for that.
No mods.
What
can you do, right?
That is that's the way it is when you have mods that are volunteers. When they want to come and they can show up and they can check something out.
Oh my god, same excuse for years.
Times when
that's what you get. They're volunteers,
or mods aren't around enough.
Shouldn't you just mod people? Like, if you don't want to pay your mods and it's a volunteer basis, why don't you just mod the people who are there regularly. Okay.
To moderate everything I do. I had no clue that if mods were going to show up tonight or not. I didn't even check, honestly.
You didn't even check. Didn't even know.
It's cool. I'm certainly not angry. I don't pay the mods, right? You can't be angry at someone and hold them to something when you don't pay them to do it. It's just kind of an open agreement. They show up when they want, and they help when they want. They help when they can. And that's cool. So my only apologies would be to those of you who are just showing up right now, and the final group here that I'm going to try to voice. All right, and then we're going to get started. All right, so we're going to get started. Without further ado, I'm going to get started here with the podcast, okay?
Is this the
so,
one where
for those of you in the stream chat could explain to newcomers who are coming in, sorry, Phil can't mod you because he's doing the podcast right now, and there's no mods tonight. Hopefully a mod will eventually show up. I guess we'll see what happens, okay? But I need to get started because I got a lot to cover tonight, a lot to talk about, okay? All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. The Hate Live, episode 39. Yes, episode 39 podcast holiday special 2015 is about to get underway. And here we go.
Because he used to have his own song, actually. Like, and here I am the king of hate. Yeah, I am the king of hate. Spit truth. I wonder if if this is the year he used it. I want to say it is. Yeah, it is. All right, we got guys. Listen up. Listen up. Get hype. This is the best theme song. I'm gonna mute myself.
Cause I speak truth. I am the king of hate. Cause I'm pure facts. I am the king of hate. Watch me in the booth. Yeah, look. I came from the bottom, no slots in my pocket.
Haha.
Wow, that was it.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, you know what? No, I'm not sitting on that. That was pathetic. That was pathetic. There's a full version of that song somewhere. We're gonna fucking find it. Let's see. DSP, the King of Hate song. I don't think. No, that's not it. Is this it? No, that is not it. I don't think I'll be able to find it. This might be lost to time, guys. I am the king of hate. Is it somewhere in here? Maybe. Oh, my content. Wow, I didn't even credit the guy. Pretty cool, huh? It gotta be here. Watch me, I am the king of hate. Why can't I find this song? This is bullshit. Maybe it's gone forever. I'm getting all these songs. Maybe if I just type in I am the king of hate. Well, I guess it's gone for good.
Fun. This
feels bad.
Wow, not how I expected it was going to be. There we go. I guess that's good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hate Live podcast. I am Darkside Phil. Whether you're watching this live on YouTube right now or you're watching this on demand on the King of Hate vlogs, welcome and thank you for being here. It's actually episode 39 of the Hate Live podcast. It's the first episode of the Hate Live podcast that I've actually done in 2 months. And quite honestly, it may be the final episode that I ever do. And I just want to let everyone know, no, it's not a negative thing. It's not like, oh my God, Phil's not doing YouTube anymore. That's not the case. It's that the times, they are changing. And with as I titled this very important vlog that I made a few days ago, with hardship and challenge comes change. And in my opinion, some of the things that are going to be changing very shortly within the next few weeks to months as we head into 2016 are going to be actually be very positive changes.
Very
things
positive.
that are going to improve the stuff that I put out on YouTube. All right. And because of the changes that are coming, this may be the final time that I do a separate podcast style show. I'll explain all of this in a moment.
All right.
But before we get into that, I just want to say happy holidays to everyone. We
Happy
are
holidays.
amidst the holiday season. It is December 10th, 2015 when I'm doing this live here. And that's why I'm so excited. I'm good mood, festive because of the holiday season. Leanna and I have been decorating the house and really been watching holiday shows every single day since the end of since Thanksgiving passed. Actually, we've been kind of into this mode, and I love this season. This is my favorite time of the year, where you got a little bit of festive cheer no matter where you go. You get, there's presents that are divvied out to each other, and it just really makes me feel cool and excited and positive and fun, even regardless of all the stuff that's going on and all the stuff that kind of weighs down on me and puts stress on me. This season, at the very least, allows me to kind of get propped up a little bit, and I like that about it, okay? So before we even get into the meat of the show, let me give you a summary of what we're going to talk about here so you know what to expect, and then we'll jump right in because we got so much to cover. All right, first of all, I'm going to very briefly, it's not going to be a long segment, cover what happened this week, the fact that there's going to be some changes coming due to some impending contract negotiations that I'm going through with right now with my partner network, Machinima, on YouTube.
Oh,
and
shit,
once those,
Machinima?
changes are through,
Those
then
fuckers.
I'm going to be changing up my content a little bit. Not to say that I'm abandoning any one thing that I do, but more that I'm trying to expand a little more. And so we're going to talk about that to start, so everyone knows why this may be the final podcast I ever did, all right? Then the next segment is going to be about gaming. The first thing I'm going to do is go through all the games that I've played since the last time I did a podcast, which was actually about exactly 2 months ago. So I'm going to go through all the games I touched upon in October and November and December, and kind of give you a rough idea of what I thought about each game, because the bottom line is there's been so many games that I have not reviewed anything. I haven't reviewed a damn game since, I think, either late September or early October. And because of that, not having the opportunity to do that, I want to at least give you an idea of the games that I've played and what I thought about each one. Okay?
All right.
Then, we're going to go through the game release schedule for early 2016. The other day, I sat down for about a half hour and went through it. And I want to tell you about all the games coming out in early 2016 that I'm excited to maybe be trying out. Keep in mind that just because we're going to be talking about them doesn't mean I'll be playing every one of these. But I want to talk a little bit about that. Then, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards. Not too much into it because I really don't have too much to say about it. These mainstream award shows don't really blow me away, and I never really care about them too much. But what I want to talk about are two major points from the show: the Game of the Year pick, as well as the controversy surrounding the attendance of Hideo Kojima. All right? And then I'll talk very briefly also about the PlayStation Experience Conference that happened this past Saturday, where there was lots of announcements and things. I think by far the biggest things that came out of that, it was the Final Fantasy VII kind of announcement / sneak preview, and people were like blown away or like freaked out by it. I don't know.
Freaked out.
Very weird. But there were a couple other announcements in there that I was excited about too that I want to just very briefly touch upon. Okay, and then we'll have a break. And then when we come back from break, it's going to be the second segment of the show, which is going to be the holiday segment. First of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how Leanna and I have been celebrating the holidays here in our home in Washington. And then we're going to do a back in the day segment about how when I was a kid in the 1980s, how I would celebrate Christmas, whether it's traditions and stuff that my family would have around the house, how we decorated for Christmas, and the differences between the way that you would maybe trim or put up a Christmas tree back then versus now, which, 30 years later, it's incredibly different. It's such a different experience. It blows me away, how crazy different things are for between then and now. It was a hazard. It was like seriously, like, if you were gonna put up a Christmas tree, you needed to have, like, fucking hazmat tape around your house, and your parents had to be, like, super
Hazmat tape?
attentive, and of course, half the time they weren't, and then there were people, you could either get cut, burnt, stabbed, electrocuted, like, there was so many crazy things. It really wasn't a safe endeavor to trim a Christmas tree when I was a kid, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because it's so freaking different.
That even sounds like a meme, even by 80 standards.
And I think it'll be cool to kind
Like,
of,
he talks as if he's, like, in the
flesh that
fucking
out
50s.
and talk a little bit about it. So
I don't think it's
that's
going to
be tonight's podcast, okay? And I think it's going to be a full one. So at any time, if you're watching this live, first of all, thank you. But understand that there will be a break and stuff like that in there. If you're watching this on demand on YouTube, I do put timestamps in the description of the video. So anytime you can go down there and you can just click and jump to the segment you want. Maybe you don't care about the gaming stuff. You want to hear my back in the day only. You can click on that right now and jump ahead to that segment, okay? All right, so ladies and gents, let's get started by talking turkey. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with me and YouTube
Talking
and
turkey.
Machinima and everything. I already made a huge, and when I say huge, I mean an hour-long vlog about this a couple days ago. And I want to say thank you to those of you who did check out that vlog. Listen, I know an hour-long vlog out of the blue is certainly something that most people aren't planning to watch. And let's face it, retaining viewership for an hour is a tough thing to do. But some 20,000 people and growing have already checked out this vlog.
This vlog, I believe, it was the one where he was saying that Machinima was renegotiating his contract, and that was a big deal because I feel there was this was another agreement where it's like, okay, you're not doing views anymore. Fuck that. We're doing ads, bitch. Deal with it. And DSP was like, I gotta deal with it, guys.
We're concerned about, gee, what's going on with Phil and his YouTube presence. We want to see what's going on with him. Will he be able to do this in the future? And it seems like it's a serious situation, and it is. In a nutshell, the bottom line is here's what's going on. Machinima and I are right now in talks to renegotiate my contract. Because the bottom line is, Machinima's been paying me a certain amount of money to make videos on YouTube. And as of right now, due to the nature of the business, due to the fact that ad revenues on YouTube have actually declined significantly since 2012 when they originally signed me to this contract, all right, they have to renegotiate because the bottom line is they're losing money. And I couldn't imagine a company continuing to operate if they're losing money on contracts with people. And mine was one of the contracts where they're actually losing money on it. So what they're doing is fair from a financial perspective. From what they're doing is incredible.
It's fair. Then when he got released from Machinima, it was bullshit. They renegotiated. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They didn't know if they wanted to be a company about gaming or shows. They had a Halo show. It was terrible. But it's fair, guys.
Incredibly fair, all right? And they're renegotiating this contract with me, and we're going back and forth. We're hitting, here's what we have to offer, and I counterpoint, well, what about this? And they say, okay, well, what about this and this? And we're going back and forth.
I fucking doubt that was it. It was probably like, hey, sign this. And then he was like, should I go to another company? And then he saw their contract. He was like, nah, let's stick with Machinima. Easy. And just signed it. Because I don't believe I don't think any content creator, to be honest, had the luxury of talking with negotiating a price. Right? I just don't think that's a thing ever. Maybe the bigger guys like fucking the Pollies and the Pies and the Plier, but I don't think people like DSP can fucking slam their dick on the table and be like, no, I want this.
Forth every day, there's interaction between us. At the same time, while this negotiation is going on, I'm talking with other partner networks on YouTube as well. And there's two in particular that I've talked to. And it seems to me that these partner networks, although what they're offering me initially is good, isn't necessarily as good as what Machinima can offer me when it comes to financially. All right? Let me give you an example. One of the major things I want to do next year is start a new channel. And the new channel on YouTube is going to be not called Darkside Phil or DSP. It's going to have its own original name, so that way that negative stigma. Whenever you go into YouTube and you type in DSP or Darkside Phil, you may get my videos, but you're also going to get a ton of fucking videos from these fucking idiots who just like to say nasty shit about me to get views because they realize that it's like the TMZ of the internet is to make shit up or slander me, and they can get tons of views on it, right? So rather than have that association, I'd like to have it called something completely different and kind of start fresh. So at least for the first few months when this channel exists, you're not typing in the name of the channel and you get all this nasty shit, okay? So I want to do this, and this channel is going to feature edited content like my game reviews. The Hateful Truth will be over there. Top 10 countdowns, best and worst of game series that I'm doing. And in fact, I may even do like a weekly recap of what's the best and worst stuff to happen this week in the videos that I put out, and do it once a week as like a weekly thing. That could be pretty cool.
Thing, dude.
And so since that's a way different style of video than what I normally do, normally I'm just doing raw gameplay on DSP Gaming, I want to put it on its own channel. So number one, it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of DSP Gaming. And number two, that there's not so many videos being uploaded to this channel that people are afraid to subscribe. And the bottom line is that's what's always been the issue with DSP Gaming. That's why on this channel I have like over 300 million views, but only 180,000 subscribers. Because people always over the years said, I don't want to subscribe because you're going to flood my YouTube inbox. So instead of that, you can now, if you don't have time to watch my raw playthroughs anymore, you can subscribe to this other channel and you can watch all the edited content. That's kind of like me abridged almost.
Me abridged, dude.
Like, you know how they have DBZ abridged? You should make
Shouts
DSP
out DBZ abridged.
I like that name, but I'm not going to use it because it still has DSP in it. I have to find something completely new and different for the name for that channel. So that's one idea I have for next year that I want to do. And the thing is, in order for that to be successful, this new channel has to be under a managed partnership. Because if I just have a regular YouTube partnership, I'm going to get content ID matches for gameplay footage and sound effects and music and shit from these montages. And I'm just not going to fucking deal with that shit. Because if I'm putting all this time and effort into this new edited content...
So he says this, right? But the music he used is like stock music. It's like the music that YouTube gives you.
Channel, all right, and I'm really trying hard to make it work so it'll appeal to more of a mainstream viewer on YouTube than what I do on DSP Gaming. Well, I can't have half the shit that I put up there get claimed and you can't monetize it. It would be a waste of time. So it needs to be under a managed partnership. So I'm working right now with Machinima to get them to agree to do that. Okay, if they don't, I already have another company who I'm talking with who says they will. They said, we will take both DSP Gaming and whatever this new channel is under our shoulder, and we'll make them both managed partnerships, and we will do our best to promote your content and get you new viewers. So I like that. The difference is they said they're going to pay me less money than Machinima does. So no matter what, come 2016, I'm taking a pay cut. And that sucks because, as you know, I already took a big hit on the business the past few months because of the fucking false copyright strikes that I got against DSP Gaming in August. I'm just starting to bounce back. In fact, I'll let everyone know.
He's just starting to bounce back, guys. Now, I think recently, in the pre-stream podcast, DSP was saying that he was never able to bounce back or anything, right? But here he said he's just beginning to bounce back.
No, this is the first time I'm actually going to mention this. I did finally get the results back for the month of November. They just updated today. And the month of November, I bounced back in a big way, okay? In fact, DSP Gaming did just as well in November as it did the rest of the year. So basically, after seeing 2 months of a big sharp fucking decline because of that negativity, it jumped right back up in November. And I want to keep it at that constant. You know what I mean?
And it's like his YouTube channel was growing back then, but now he tells us that now it's growing. Now, right now. Okay.
So now it's like, oh, so now I can keep it at that constant. Oh, by the way, even though you're back to where you were because you busted your ass to do good content in November, now you're going to take a pay cut anyway. And it's like, oh my God, really? Like, seriously, like, it's frustrating as fuck. It's like roadblock after roadblock, and you get past one, and here's another, you know? But this is how it's been ever since I started on YouTube. It's hurdle after hurdle, adversity after another piece of adversity that I have to get through. And so I do want to let everyone know that even though it looks like in 2016, things may be a little bit rougher, I may not be able to buy every single fucking upgrade and every single possible piece of technology and, you know, I'm certainly, it sucks because I'll be honest with everyone. Right now, I really do feel burnt out after this year. Like, I really could use a vacation. One thing that Leanna and I were planning all year was that
a vacation. And then you want to know the funniest part about that vacation he wanted to go on? that was how he was gonna originally propose to the panda. Where he was gonna take her to Disney World or Disneyland, whichever one, and he was gonna propose to her there. And it's even funnier because they both planned that out, because that's how you propose to people. You talk to the person you want to marry. I almost said to have sex with. Yeah, the person you want to have sex with, you're gonna talk to them about getting engaged. Okay, but yeah, you talk to them about getting engaged, right? You plan it out instead of it being a surprise, right? That's way more romantic.
That this Christmas we were going to take a couple days off and go into Seattle and spend some time there for the holidays, and we can't do that now. We just don't have the money because I'm about to take a huge pay cut, and now I know I can't do it. And it's like, instead of finally being like, yes, it's been a tough year and I toughed it out, now let's take some time off to celebrate and be refreshed for 2016, it's instead, well, now double time and we're doubly hard. And
you know what's so stupid about this though? We have watched his fucking holiday specials, right? This dude never took a vacation. He never took a vacation. Now he's like, guys, it would be nice to take a vacation. I can't because it's negotiation. He didn't take a vacation in 2014. Around that time. But he did go on a vacation in 2016 though. He went to into Seattle. That's where the hipster hotel video came from. But guys, he can't go on vacation. He can't afford it.
Now even stress yourself out even more, and it's like, ugh. But you guys and gals are making it worth it. Like, I've got a lot of people who have messaged me privately these past few days and really sent me some not only positive responses saying we love what you do, keep at it, you're an inspiration to us. Not just that, because, let's face it, the positivity, a lot of people can see it as butt kissing. And yes, I need it. I need that boost. It's nice to get it because it makes
people can see it as butt kissing, but I need it. I need it now.
Saying we love what you do, keep at it, you're an inspiration to us. Not just that, because, let's face it,
I just love, I love that this dude cannot say a positive without a negative right after it. He tells us how his fans, like, give him all these compliments and then say, well, it could be ass kissing. Like, dude.
Positivity, a lot of people can see it as butt kissing. And yes, I need it. I need that boost. It's nice to get it because it makes me more confident and it makes me feel like this is something worthwhile. But also, people have sent me honest criticism, honest opinions and suggestions and things, and I'm taking it all to heart. I am. I've gotten over 100 people have messaged me at this point via email telling me stuff, and I'm like, damn, this is crazy. This is really crazy.
Crazy, man.
The amount of people that are invested in this. It's not just me. It's tons of people are invested in
tons
myself
of people.
And my content and the stuff that I do on YouTube, and they want to see me succeed, and they want to see me continue to be able to do it as much as I want to keep doing it. So thank you to those of you who have taken the time out to message me. And by the way, if you have not seen the vlog yet that explains all of this stuff in massive detail, check it out. It's the featured video over on DSP Gaming. It's about an hour long, so give yourself some time, get some popcorn or whatever you need.
Get some popcorn. Grab some popcorn and watch me complain about money. Oh man, I bought cookie dough bites. I should have brought them here to eat. Damn it. Oh well.
But it's definitely the most important video I've put out pretty much ever at this point, because it really is important to my future. And in it, I actually definitively give you four. It's important video I've put out pretty much ever at this point, because it really is important to my future. And in it, I actually definitively give you 4 ways, or noise across the hallway, that you can help me, and you can support me, and you can make it so that I can continue to do this in the long term, rather than just, on a whim, okay? So, please check out the video. Now,
check out the video.
I said at the very beginning.
By the way, he said that was his most important video, not the one where he got swatted, right? Okay.
Of this video, that this may be the final Hate Live I ever do. Now, that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying, I'm quitting on vlogs or nothing. That's not the case at all. My plan for 2016 is that I'm actually going to do what a lot of YouTubers tend to do, and quite honestly, it's what a lot of YouTubers make their living on. They don't do daily gameplay like I do. They actually basically just do vlogs every day. They react to news, they react to pop culture stuff, game and movie trailers, television shows, things that are coming up, like news stories for gaming and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with everyone. I said this in the video too earlier this week. I was never a fan of it. Like, to me, I would not. For me, I mean, and this is the thing, maybe.
I just love he says that it's not his kind of video and all this stuff. He doesn't get it, but dude, your videos are just you talking about your opinion on it.
For me, I've never been a person who's like a fanboy of anything, really. I mean, yes, I'm a huge fan of certain things, but I'm never like, wow, I like this person so much, or I'm so fascinated by this that I want to hear this person talk about something every day. I've never been like that, and maybe that's someone.
He said this back then, but now he does a podcast daily to talk to us. This dude, oh my god, this illustrates how narcissistic he has gotten over the years. He is way more narcissistic than he ever was. Think about it, right? He gives us a schedule and an image on Twitter. Then he does an audio schedule. Then he does a daily wrap that also has a schedule in it. Then he does a podcast pre-stream podcast to talk to us about the schedule and all this other shit. Like, he's on camera all the time. More so than he was back then. This dude has only gotten more narcissistic over the years, and he's telling us in 2015, I'm not the kind of guy that likes to be on camera all the time, you know?
My downfall or my shortcoming is that I can only see from my own perspective, and I haven't seen that there is a huge demand on YouTube for people. I call them talking heads, because really it's what it is. It's called a talking head, someone who's there to give their commentary on whatever's going on in the world on a daily basis. But I've never seen myself as that, and I certainly have never seen that like it would be anything useful. Yet, take a look. There's tons of people who do this on YouTube. It's all they do. They don't make gameplay. They don't do game reviews. They don't do anything. They just make a daily vlog, and they make their whole fucking living off of YouTube. I mean, it's insane. You might scratch your head and be like, really? Yeah. It's absolutely fucking true. And if anything,
I love that he says this, but how does he know? How does he know these people make a living on YouTube? By doing that. How does he know? He just does, guys.
Year 2015, the massive feedback that I've actually gotten, all right, from my viewership is that you want more of me, right? More of Phil, more of Phil's opinion, more of Phil's reaction. Every day when something happens, I get 100 people on Twitter who message me, gee, what about this? Emails, what do you think about this? And the bottom line is I kind of take all of that, all right? And I save it for my Hate Live podcast. But I don't get to do the Hate Live podcast as often as I'd like. I haven't done one in 2 months. And look at all the stuff that's happened in 2 months, right? So what I'm going to be doing, more than likely, is not that it's going to be every day, and certainly not that it's going to become my primary focus on YouTube, because I don't want to lose track of the hardcore fans who've been with me from the beginning. And don't worry, the gameplay, the raw gameplay is not going away. If you want the full explanation of what I'm going to be doing in 2016, again, watch the video over on DSP Gaming. This is just it kind of in summary. But what I'm going to be doing is a lot more vlog style videos, because you asked for it. I'm going to give you what you want. I mean, there's a demand there for it. I should fill the demand rather than ignoring the demand. So not to say that every little possible thing, but if there's something that interests me, if there is a news story that I feel I have an opinion that I can share that maybe could be different from someone else, or could add to a conversation, or could give you an interesting perspective, I'm going to do it. All right? It's not going to be every single thing, because I know there's people who take every fucking movie trailer and they do a let's react to it. No,
let's react,
not to that extent. But you'll at least, if anything, you're going to see a lot more stuff from me when it comes to vlogging. Because the bottom line is, this channel, the King of Hate Vlogs, excuse me, has kind of been neglected this year, because I was focused on gameplay and on Patreon stuff all year and special events and stuff like that. I really didn't do much with vlogging. It was really kind of par for the course. I would do Ask the King, the Weekend Preview, DSP Tries It, and if there was any kind of a special vlog that I wanted to do, but it wasn't anything that there was a focus on. Next year, I'm going to try to focus more on that, all right?
All right.
Direct response to what people want, I'm going to give you what you've said you want, okay? So that's a major change. Now that's the thing. If every day, if let's say 2 to 3 times a week I'm doing a video where I'm talking like this. Obviously, if I'm doing it that often, then probably I'm going to be addressing all the stuff that you want to hear. So there's no need for a Hate Live podcast. You know what I mean? And some people might say, well, what about the back in the day segments? Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll integrate those into, let's say there's something going on in the news and I have a back in the day story that I can relate to it. I'll talk about it in that video. And another thing that you're going to see is it's not going to be 2.5 hour long videos anymore here. It's going to be shorter videos. You know, if there's a topic, I'll talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes, and that's the video. Rather than me sitting here for 2.5 hours covering 47 topics, and you have to jump around clicking.
And look at him now. That's his pre-stream. That's his pre-stream. 2 hours of just skipping around. This dude is like, the past is today's Detractor.
Timestamps to check out every single one. So that's kind of how I'm going to approach it in 2016. It's an experiment. We're going to see how it works. Hopefully it works out. If I can get a lot more attention on this channel, I'll give it a lot more emphasis and I'll work more on it. Like I said, what I'm going to be doing in 2016 is kind of splitting my days, where maybe the first half of every day will be focused on gameplay and streaming, and the second half will be vlogging, edited content, okay?
And this is before he was a live streamer, dude.
How I want it to go.
And it's always funny to me that he says that, well, I'm a live streamer now. He streams the same amount as he did back then. And he did more stuff back then than he does now. It just sounds like, to me, this dude just didn't want to do any work. Like, he just didn't want to do a lot of work, so he was like, I'll just be a live streamer, fuck it. Because how come he had all this time back then to stream and to do KO gaming and vlogs and all this stuff, but now it's like, it's impossible. Okay.
So we'll see. So if everything goes right, and this is the thing, people have been asking me this, well, Phil, you mentioned these upcoming changes. You're going to maybe do a new channel. You're going to maybe do more vlogging and talk about different stuff. When's all this going to happen? Well, it's going to basically happen in 2016. It's going to happen right after I finish all of my year-end series. Keep in mind, there's a lot of year-end series I'm working on this year, and they don't start until Christmas. So it's going to be that week of Christmas. You're going to see some of the year-end series start to release. And so then, of course, Christmas week, you got the Christmas special, and then you're going to have the Game of the Year awards, the funniest moments of the year, the most disappointing games of the year, and so on and so forth. So those are going to continue throughout early January. As soon as those finish, that's when I'm going to actually start focusing on that. And it's actually interesting because one of the segments we're going to talk about today is the game releases. There's not even a game release in January that I want to play until January 19th. So I've got plenty of time to kind of finish off the year-end series and transition into this new thing. And keep in mind, the other thing is, this new channel, I have to create it. I have to get a creative name for it, which I haven't thought up of yet. And I need to get it partnered and get it up and running and working, so that when this change happens, the channel exists. Not that, oh, well, now I'm going to do it. Oh, the channel doesn't even exist yet, so now I have to rush to get everything done. No, all that stuff has to be done behind the scenes first. So that's your answer. And, fingers crossed. Let's hope it works. I mean, I want to keep doing YouTube full time. If I could get more attention here on my vlogging channel, and if I could actually get more people checking out edited content, and those things kind of blow up, and my gaming kind of stays how it's been, this will be amazing. And I may be able to make up for the lost money that I'm going to get out of this contract negotiation and all of this. But it's all wishful thinking right now, so I got to say fingers crossed, and let's see what happens, right? It's been a great ride. Let me tell you, everyone. It's been an amazing ride since I started on YouTube in 2008 and since I started making money doing this in 2011. And I certainly wouldn't want it to change or go away. Especially, I kind of talked about this a little bit on my forums this past week. Some people were posting up, well, I don't understand why Phil can't just get another job, a side job, and then still do YouTube. Because it seems like YouTube isn't a secure thing anymore, right? Well, I certainly could go out there and get a side job, but I can tell you what, number one, it's not going to be anything like that office job I had because I've been out of the industry for 5 years. No one's going to hire someone who's been out of a certain industry for 5 years to be in a position near what they were at when they left. You know what I mean?
So then why did he make a deal with his mom in 2019 to get a job in 10 years? You see, like, He says this in 2015, and everyone knew, everyone who had a brain in 2019, when he said, I made a deal with my mom that I'm gonna get a job in 10 years. We all knew he wasn't gonna do it because of this reason right here. He said, they're not gonna hire me because of these reasons. And then we said that, it's like, yeah, okay, 10 years. What a meme. What a meme number. And then he says, oh, COVID shot that plan down, which makes, I've always said it didn't make any sense. How did it shoot it down when COVID happened 2020, 2021? And as it is, things are going back to normal. And people are still going back to work and all this other stuff. So how is it the 10-year plan was scrapped before it could even run, right? Man, it really sounded like he just told his mom what she wanted to hear, and then he just said, never mind.
And I'm out of practice, and I really, the credentials are faded away at this point. Any kind of notoriety that I might have had to say, oh, I know continuous improvement work, and I know this about this.
If only his mom watches content.
Job industry. This pillow is attacking me. I've been out of that job industry for 5 years, so what you're talking about is any job that I get will be an entry-level job, which is not going to pay a lot, but I'm going to be working hours, and that means I have to take away from the YouTube thing, which means, guess what? I'm not going to have time to do these new projects. I'm not going to have time to do vlogging. I'm not going to have time to do edited content. I barely will have enough time to even be doing playthroughs. Does anyone remember how few videos I actually used to put out when I had the full-time job? I would come home from work and maybe game for about 90 minutes to 2 hours a night, tops, and that was it. And that was before it was for money. So for that case, it was like, okay, whatever Phil plays is great because it's not for money. Now imagine trying to sustain a business on only...
It's great. Wait, what?
That was it. And that was before it was for money. So for that case, it was like, okay, whatever Phil plays is great because it's not for money. Now imagine...
These videos were great because they were not for money. But now he's running a business, so now it's for money? But I thought he doesn't play games for money.
Trying to sustain a business on only maybe an hour to 2 hours of videos a day with my formula, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work. So in that regard, me going out and getting a job or whatever would actually kill the whole YouTube thing. I would literally have to say, well, forget YouTube. I'm just going to start over from the beginning. And the bottom line is right now I couldn't do that anyway because with the debt that I have and the financial responsibilities that I have right now, wouldn't happen. I couldn't afford it. Right now, I'm with the money I'm making on YouTube, it's enough to pay everything. If I were to drop all of that to go get a job, it's not going to pay as much as what I'm making on YouTube, and it's just not viable. So it is what it is.
Yeah, guys, and not viable.
Let's see what happens. Let's stay positive. Let's, thank you for everyone again for your positive messages, and let's move forward and let's see where we go in 2016. All right, now let's talk about games. Let's talk about the games I've been playing for the past few months because like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I haven't had a chance to talk about really the games besides on like a pre-stream or whatever in 2 months because I just haven't had time. I've been so busy with so many new releases, I haven't had time to review anything. So the very first thing that I want to talk about was actually a game that I started playing immediately after I ended my last podcast, which was in early October. This game is called the Talos Principle.
Oh,
now,
boy.
Admittedly, this game's old.
That game he got for free, by the way.
This game actually came out in December of 2014 on PC, and I heard people say, oh, it's a great game, but you didn't hear too much about it after that. And then I got an actual promotional copy of this from the game developers back in October, and it was a week or two where it was kind of a dead week. The stuff that I was playing in October, like Transformers, what was it, whatever the hell it was called. I don't even remember what the name of it was at this point. Rise of Cybertron or something. I don't even know.
Rise of Skywalker.
Basically, they didn't catch on. The games that I were playing kind of flopped, and people weren't really too interested in watching them. And I said, well, I want to check out this different game then called Talos Principle. So I did, and quite honestly, it's one of the best.
He got a review copy and then suddenly just was curious about the game. Okay.
Best games of a puzzle nature.
If I got a free game, I'd be curious too, dude.
Basically reminds me massively of Portal, only it seems a little bit more interesting because there's this kind of almost like this... Think of the plot of games like Soma. Like Soma that I just played back in September, where it's like a real conundrum of life. What is life? Is life just consciousness? Is life existence? Do you need a human body to be alive? Stuff like that. And a what if scenario if the world had ended, but you're still robots and stuff, and AI doesn't exist? Is that considered life or whatever? Plus, to be alive, stuff like that. And what if September, where it's like a real conundrum of life? What is life? Is life just consciousness? Is life existence? Do you need a human body to be alive? Stuff like that. And what if scenario?
Do you need a human body to be alive? That's what he got from that? I mean, I don't remember so much, to be honest, so I guess I can't say much, but I don't think that was one of the questions, because that's kind of dumb.
If the world had ended, but you're still robots and stuff, and AI, does it exist? Is that considered life or whatever? Plus, the puzzles in this game were amazing, and really I was having a ton of fun with Talos Principle, and I played it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then, unfortunately, I never got to go back to it because I got caught up with all the other new releases. And the bottom line is...
It's coincidental, too, because I think he dropped it right at a puzzle that he couldn't figure out. Like, it stumped him, and he's like, okay, guys, guess I can't figure it out. Well, maybe next time. Then he dropped it.
A very long game, too. And I actually played it on the PlayStation 4. It's this edition that actually comes with free DLC that I guess was sold as an expansion originally for the original game. Comes with the game now out of the box on PS4 and the game's not even that expensive. I think it's like $20-30 tops. So if anything, I could say if you're into puzzlers and you want something that has like a really game that makes you think while you're being challenged with mind-numbing puzzles, the Talos Principle is your game. Okay. All right. So then the next real major game, honestly, that I played was Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and a lot of people kind of were really apprehensive this year about getting the Assassin's Creed game, because the bottom line is that Assassin's Creed Unity last year was a huge letdown. That game, everyone admits it, even
I remember him complaining about Assassin's Creed Syndicate for having women in it. Like, he's like, there were no women in gangs back then. This isn't historically accurate. And I'm just like, dude, you're playing fucking Assassin's Creed. And he's like, mad that there were women in the game. It was some meme like that.
Admitted it. The game fucking publisher admitted the game's a piece of shit. That it ran like crap, it had tons of game bugs, functionality issues, and it just was a subpar Assassin's Creed entry that was rushed out for them to have their usual yearly installment of Assassin's Creed, and there was no fucking reason for the game to be released like that. So a lot of people said, that's it, I got burned, I'm done. I got burned by Ubisoft. There's no chance that I'm going to be playing Assassin's Creed this year. I'm writing it off at this point because I'm so pissed off at how bad that game was last year, okay? Well, I hate to say it, but this probably, if you skipped Assassin's Creed this year, you missed out. Because in my opinion, this is the best Assassin's Creed in a while. I liked it at least as much as Assassin's Creed 4, and I say it's probably almost as much as I liked the original Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy. Like, it's really good. The characters were great. They were unique and original, and you actually cared about them. And the fact that, yes, it is the same Assassin's Creed formula, don't get me wrong. It's not like they went outside the box, but at the same time, they made such significant improvements. The parkour is so much easier and fluid in this game. The fact that they added a zip line now, so you almost feel like Batman going throughout the city, you know, zip lining from roof to roof, and it makes it so much easier, the maneuverability. The collectibles, they've kind of narrowed down and made those a lot easier. So basically, they took a lot of the tedium and the annoyances and the time-killing aspect, right? The things that made the other games so long because you couldn't even be the maneuverability was limited in the city. Those things were all improved. Plus, all those fucking stupid issues from last year's game, the bugs and the visual issues, mostly are gone. There's still a few hilarious bugs in this game, but the bugs that exist are, they just add to the hilarity. Like, there was this one time I was riding a buggy. Yes, you can drive buggies in this, horse and buggy. And a guy was standing on top of the buggy. So I got out of the buggy, I fought him, I killed him. And I got in the buggy, started riding it. His body fused to the top of the buggy, so it looked like he was flat, like roadkill, stuck on the fucking top of the buggy as I rode around. Oh, it was funny, man. And it's just, that's what I mean. Moments like that, it's a bug, but it adds to the hilarity. The bugs in Assassin's Creed Unity made the game unplayable. The bugs in Assassin's Creed Syndicate make the game funny. So, the game's great, and it's really long, and there's tons of content, and there's actually hidden content and side content and post-game content that I didn't even get to, and that I really am looking forward to possibly doing a stream of at some point, even though I haven't had a chance to do it anytime recently. I want to get to it. The one aspect of the game that throws me for a loop and pisses me off, because it doesn't make any sense, the game historically,
here we go,
has been, like, had a historical aspect. Let's have actual people from history in it, and they did. You got Charles Darwin, you got Charles Dickens, you got the Queen of England. All these people who are real from history are in the game. But then they make this weird decision that the enemies in the game, this gang of hooligans or whoever they are that are trying to take over England, politically and, even with power or whatever, gangs in the streets, half of them were women. And I'm sorry, but that's just not historically accurate. Or whoever they are that are trying to take over England, politically and, even with power or whatever, gangs in the streets, half of them were women. And I'm sorry, but
that's not realistic, guys. Women were never in gangs back then. They were in the kitchen, right?
just not historically accurate. No, women were not allowed to be.
How does DSP know about the accuracy of history? I mean, I guess there were articles back then saying, well, this, that, but at the same time, it's a fucking video game about a dude going back in time through DNA mumbo jumbo, and they control an assassin or whatever, right? But no, guys, there were no women in gangs, okay? Fucking stupid. Like I might have kind of whatever, Battlefield 5's drama with the historical accuracies, whatever. I mean, that too I thought was a little silly because it's a first person shooter. People mostly play for the multiplayer. Like I didn't quite get why people cared that much about the campaign for that specific game. But whatever, okay. But this is just completely stupid. I'm sorry. The story itself is about a guy who it's not time traveling, but they have like a science, like the Animus is a fucking silly machine that you go back through DNA or some dumb shit. But it's like, guys, there were no women gangsters. It's like, this is the line you're gonna draw?
In those kind of positions of power, women were not allowed to be snipers in a gang. It just didn't happen. And I understand, there's such an outcry this day from the social justice warriors that, we have to be equal, and it's not fair that women were mistreated. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you skew fucking history for it. You know what I mean? Like, from the social justice warriors that, we have to be equal, and it's not fair.
We have to be equal. I don't know, that to me is like what's funny is that this argument has mostly been used with like people who are in the trans community, LGBT, minorities, all these groups that have always had their issues. I mean, I can't really speak because obviously I'm not in their shoes, but he acts as if SJW itself is like a fucking community of like an identity, like being trans or whatever, like being SJW is that, which isn't the case at all. It's kind of a meme, and these are like, it's about being equal, but at this time, and it's still kind of going on, it's mostly them talking about they want more representation in video games. Not that, we need to be equal. It's more that there's not enough representation. And we don't have to get into the specifics of this debate either, but it's, people are gonna say, it's like, well, look at all these games that have, like, this kind of character. I kind of want other characters that were not this same character you've seen 1,000 times. But okay.
That women were mistreated. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you skew fucking history for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know how history was, you don't know how to learn from it and improve. If you deny the fact that women were basically second-class citizens, they couldn't vote, they didn't have the rights of everyone else, all these things that women were not treated equally with men for such a long time until, say, the past 100 years, if you deny that and pretend like it didn't happen, then you're ignoring history. You're blackwalling history. You might as well go to the library and burn all the books.
What?
The past 100
wait, what?
Were basically second-class citizens. Outcry this day from the social justice warriors that, we have to be equal.
What the fuck is this rant? I was expecting him to talk about like the fucking online like the Anitas in the world, but instead we're talking about this. Okay.
It's not fair that women were mistreated. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you skew fucking history for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know how history...
I just don't get... Did people play Assassin's Creed for the history lessons? Because if that's the case, that's really fucking stupid. Even animus aside, the stories that go on are not even true. It's not like you're seeing, oh, we're gonna see the fucking Declaration of Independence getting signed, guys. This is what happened. This is why it's happening. It's like not even that. And he's like, they had women there, but they're like, look, they're changing history. But it's like, oh my god.
History was, you don't know how to learn from it. And
Then he says, we don't know how to learn from it if we change history, but that's why we have school. That's why you go to school. This segment, holy shit, dude.
and improve. If you deny the fact that women were basically second-class citizens, they couldn't vote, they didn't have the rights of everyone else, all these things that women were not treated equally with men for such a long time until, say, the past 100 years, if you deny that and pretend like it didn't happen, then you're ignoring history. You're blackwalling history. You might as well go to the library and burn all the books there, right? It's kind of like these people that say, well,
all this because Ass Creed Syndicate has a female lead. This gives a female lead. We might as well burn all the books. This is such a dumb hill to die on. Why?
we don't want to talk about slavery anymore. It's like, but it happened, and if we don't acknowledge that slavery happened, how will we ever learn from the past? And so I play a game like this, and it pisses me the fuck off, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. This is a game that's always been historically accurate. They went completely off.
Ass Creed has always been historically accurate. Okay. Alright.
The rails not accurate at all, just for the sake of appeasing these SJW fucking ninnies on fucking Twitter and shit, and fucking Tumblr or wherever the fuck they go. They complain about every little thing, and they shouldn't. I think not accurate at all, just for the sake of appeasing these SJW fucking ninnies on fucking Twitter and shit, and fucking Tumblr or wherever the fuck they go.
They go to Tumblr. Little side note. The one thing I kind of love about the Tumblr nonsense back then and now is that Tumblr got fucked over because they started banning pornography and sexual content, right? But everyone was like saying how Tumblr was an SJW place and it had all these like this weird reputation. I thought it was always weird because Tumblr had a lot of sexual shit on it, and people are like, "Well, this is like SJW territory." It's like, but how is it that it had the most sexual content on it? Whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Because they complain about every little thing, and they shouldn't. I think they gave in, they kowtowed to these people, and it makes the game a little bit jarring and almost like silly, because it doesn't seem like it's accurate anymore, and that they actually became a bunch of pussies and gave into this kind of pressure. So there you have it. That's my opinion on Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Halo 5, one of the most underwhelming games of the year for me. The plot was terrible. The actual campaign was awful. It's made to be a co-op campaign, but you could still play it in single player, but if you play it in single player, the AI is god-awful. They still don't have driving that works in the game, if you can believe it. If you get into a car and the AI tries to drive, it still drives in circles and into fucking walls. I mean, it's only been every Halo game, so it's only like they've had over a decade to fix it, and they still fucking haven't, which is a joke. It's like they're still using the same AI from Halo 1 in Halo 5, and the multiplayer leaves something to be desired for me. It's funny because you see the reviews, it's the best Halo multiplayer ever! Whatever. Sorry,
Whatever.
I really liked Halo 3's multiplayer way more than I like this. I think that they tried to make Halo something different. Like, they're trying to make it more mainstream, so they're trying to make it have a lot of the modes and the kind of the things that make it similar to other FPS games. And for some people, they would love that. Well, I like other FPS games, so I like it when Halo is a hybrid with that. For me, it's kind of like, it makes Halo more generic. It actually makes it worse, in my opinion. And I think that this is probably one of the worst Halos of recent memory. Like, Halo 4, as much as I didn't like the plot, the multiplayer was good, or at least okay, passable. In this case, I didn't like the multiplayer really at all, besides one mode. They have one new mode in this game, where it's you against human opponents, but also there's these AI-controlled enemies you need to kill to earn points. That mode I like. Every other mode in the game I thought was uninspired, and I really didn't like it. WWE 2K16. Improved graphics, Basically, they listened to user feedback, and they improved all the things that were screwed up about last year's in 2K15. They increased the number of creative wrestlers you can have. They made the intros more accurate. They put a ton of fucking wrestlers in this game so that the vast majority of people who are now in WWE and on TV are in the game, with the exception of the Divas Revolution that unfortunately started happening. You know, all those NXT Divas coming over from NXT to the WWE. That didn't happen until after the game was pretty much done, so they didn't have the capability to add those girls in. But the game's really good. I mean, the controls, in my opinion, are a little bit... The only thing I don't really like about it, there's this weird fucking submission system that just seems out of place, and I don't like that. I haven't even had a chance to do Sims or to go online yet, but from what I've played of the campaign, which features Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then my career mode, I really like it. The only complaint I really have is that in my career mode, there's still this kind of necessary fucking grind where you have to wrestle a bunch of generic matches. And I'm sorry, I know that in real life sometimes, you know, creative has nothing for you, so you have to wrestle jobber matches and shit, but it's not fun in the game. I don't want to wrestle Bo Dallas 12 times within 2 months because the game didn't give me a plot line. You know what I mean? And they still have to fix that. They have to find a way to make it entertaining all the time. Not that you're doing all these insanely boring filler matches, because I'll be honest, it's not fun for the gamer, and it's certainly not fun for the viewer, and it pisses me off. So, that's my opinion on that. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I kind of have mixed opinions on this one.
Mixed opinions.
The campaign of the game, alright, is pretty good. The plot line of the campaign of the game is interesting. It actually ties in with other Call of Duty games. And it actually ties in with zombies, if you can fucking believe it. Yeah. And it's got this really cool sci-fi plot line, and the characters are interesting.
I kind of forgot.
So it's kind of
I didn't know Black Ops 3 had a story. I forgot about that.
It's meant to be played in co-op. Alright? And I played it in co-op.
Oh,
the
you
problem
did?
was the game was barely functional in co-op. It would drop me. Every fucking stage of the game, it would drop me, and it would take us 25 minutes to get us all back in the lobby so we could continue. And basically it turned this effort of trying to do a 4-player cooperative campaign into a nightmare because it was just so fucking frustrating to get the game to work. So it's kind of like, great idea, terrible fucking execution when it comes to the campaign. Alright? Multiplayer is pretty much par for the course multiplayer. Little tweaks this year because you get the different classes, right? There's different classes in it, and each class gets different perks. Like one gets an explosive bow, and one has a lightning gun, and one can teleport around and stuff. So it gives the game some replayability and certainly some variety, unlike a lot of other Call of Duties where it's like, well, you're all the same fucking generic person, just with a different gun. This game at least gives you that kind of
He hated that, by the way. He hates this.
He
hates that now, well, and loved that everyone was the same or whatever the fuck he just said. Wow, he liked the gimmicks, and now he doesn't.
Like that about it. The zombies, from what I played, is really good. The zombie mode, there's one zombie map. I take that back. For those who just bought the game, there's one zombie map. For those who pre-ordered the game and bought the season pass, there's 2 zombie maps. Although the second zombie map is basically just an HD modern remake of the original zombie map from, what was it, World at War. So it's really nothing new. It's just kind of more of the same of what you've already done. But the new zombie map is cool. It's got an all-star cast like Jeff Goldblum and, oh my god, now I can't even remember any of the other people that are in it. It's blowing my, it's frying my brain right now. But it's all, you know, 4 celebrities voice acting in it. It's challenging. It's very different. There's zombies, but at the same time, there's fucking, what is it? Cthulhu-like tentacle fucking monsters, and there's a supernatural aspect to it outside of just zombies, and there's a definitive plot to it, and the Easter eggs are great, and it's probably one of the biggest zombie maps ever made, and I loved doing co-op with this zombie map with some people. And the bottom line is, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, these Black Ops games, the ones that are made by Treyarch, that's the development company that made the one this year, they do every 3rd game now. The Treyarch ones are fucking solid. Like, you know, if you're spending $60 on the Treyarch Call of Duty, you're going to get through at least 3 game modes, each one that's pretty solid. You're going to get tons of replayability, and you know you're getting bang for your buck. I can't say that.
It's
the past couple years, we had Advanced Warfare, and then what was the one before that? Ghosts, which was fucking really bad. Those games were kind of This one is like, Like, this is the one. If you're going to get a Call of Duty after every few years, I would go for the Treyarch one, okay? So,
go over the Treyarch ones.
I actually give Call of Duty Black Ops 3 a thumbs up, and if you like the first-person shooter games, you're going to want to check it out. Fallout 4. I got a lot to say about this, but I'm really going to save most of it for my final review after I beat the game. I'm going to tell you this. Tons of content. More content probably than any game I played this year besides Witcher 3. Okay? vastly improved gameplay mechanics when it comes to shooting, rather than just using VATS. Better graphics, and awesome story, great, huge cast, right? Bigger cast probably than ever before, more companions than ever before. 4 different options in this one to go with when it comes to how you want to ally yourself. In other games, there have always been factions, but really it's about taking one side or the other. In this one, there's 4, which is pretty nice, so a lot of variety. So there's tons of replayability. On the flip side of all that, there's still a lot of the problems that were in Fallout 3 are present in Fallout 4, like massive frame rate drops during firefights. Like, why is it that when there's 3 or 4 guys on the stream coming after me that the frame rate goes into the toilet and the game tends to even chug along and lock up at times? Frustrating. Load times, in some cases, are astronomically fucking bad. Like, really bad load times. So I have to say, there's a lot of positives, but there's also negatives about Fallout 4, and all this I'm going to factor in when eventually I do my review of it. Of course, I'm 60 hours into the game, and I haven't beaten it yet. And it's not like, oh, I've been doing repetitive shit that's boring. No, I'm questing and doing unique quests with stories behind them, and the game has that much content. It's a lot of freaking fun, so I love Fallout 4, okay? Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Uh-oh.
I have a lot to say about this one, too, but I'm going to leave it as compressed as I can since this is a podcast and not a review. They really fucking played it safe with this game. And a lot of people love this game. Oh,
I like Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Like, okay.
I played a little bit of the first reboot one, and then I got bored and dropped it. Like, I played the beginning of it, it's like, okay. The second one I liked a lot. The third one, I saw it, and I was like, maybe, but then when I heard that it was, like, puzzle heavy, I was like, I don't care. I don't like the puzzles in those kind of games. They're not my favorite kind. But it's like, I don't know. I just didn't have any interest in Shadow. But Rise was good. I loved Rise. I love the setting of Rise too, so it's all good.
But if you played Tomb Raider 2 years ago, you've already played Rise of the Tomb Raider, because it's the same fucking game. The same gameplay mechanics, the same gunplay, the same crafting mechanics. The only real difference here is a slightly different plot, and the fact that it's a little bit more, I'd say a lot more open world aspect than that Tomb Raider was 2 years ago. This one really wants you to try to go for these optional dungeons and then get an upgrade, backtrack to the beginning of the game to do a new optional dungeon, almost a la Zelda. Is how they're kind of the approach that they're taking on this game. That it really is like kind of Zelda-esque. And I hate to say it, I don't understand what people really see in this game, because, like I said, if you've played the 2013 one, you have no reason to play this one. It's the same game. It's just kind of rehashed a little bit with a little bit of a different plot. I'll be honest, the plot of this game so far is, I'm over 6 hours into it.
I will say the one thing I do think is pretty bad about Rise, the only thing I would criticize it is that they somehow succeeded in giving Laura, like, multiple origin stories. I don't know, I don't get it. Because the first one, from what I understand, it's like her, like, yeah, I'm a Croft. Second game, I don't know who I am. Yeah, I'm a Croft. And I feel like Shadow is gonna end the same way if I ever pick it up. I think I actually did because it was on sale. But anyways, it's just silly to me, right? That's the story. It's just the same shit. Like, why?
It's nowhere near as good as the plot as the first game. It's not gripping me. It's not riveting at all. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the hell people are kissing this game's ass like it's some fucking gift from gaming god. And I'm like, what the fuck game are they playing? Nothing that I'm playing, because I don't get it. I just don't. I'm lost on this one. Okay? Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront. Very exciting for the first 2 sessions. And once you've played it for about 5 hours and you've seen everything once, it's basically boring as fucking dirt, because it's a multiplayer only game. There's no campaign. Very, very limited amount of, only 3 heroes on each side for the dark side and the light side of the Force. Yes, there's vehicle combat, but it's very limited. Yes, there's airborne vehicle, flying combat with X-Wings and stuff, but it's incredibly limited. There's only 2 vehicles per fucking side and only like 2 or 3 maps. So it's like, it's a multiplayer only game. If you're going to get hooked and play the hell out of it, great. But the common person, to spend $60 on this game, it's not worth it, man. And I hate to say that, because, I'm actually a big fan of Star Wars and the Battlefront games. I played the original 2. a decade ago, and this game does not hold a candle to those original two. It just doesn't. Game of Thrones concluded. Yeah, Game of Thrones actually concluded and had the worst fucking ending of any episodic game I've ever played. It had a bait and switch ending, which basically means it seems like it's building up to this climax, and a lot of shit happens, but there's zero resolution. It's kind of like, well, all this shit happened, no resolution at all, fuck you, big cliffhangers for everyone, hope you buy Season 2 next year when it comes out. And all I have to say to that, I'm going to be honest. I said it in the video, I'll say it again. Fuck you to Telltale Games.
Wow, guys, can you believe they plan to do a sequel for a game based on a book series that is still has not gotten its final book? I know, fucking shocking, right? That Telltale wanted to cash in on the proper popular series of the time, right? Fucking idiots.
I pay money for a season, I expect a definitive ending, right? Give me an ending, because who knows if I'm going to buy Season 2. Not that you strung me along for all of Season 1, and now I have to buy Season 2 to get resolution. Fuck that shit. That's a cop-out. That's hack writing. That's hack game development. And I'll be honest, anyone who bought that game deserves a fucking refund. I was so incredibly pissed at the end of that game. I'm fucking still pissed about it now.
Like, I get what he's saying, in the sense that you want, like, a story that feels like it's a tight story in one season, and then it could leave, like, an air for a second season. Like, the Walking Dead games pretty much did this. In the first season, it ends on, like, Clementine moving on. Like, you don't really need a Season 2 for that game. But, I mean, Game of Thrones is a fucking series. There was no way that Telltale was gonna just have one season that's gonna end nicely, and then leave it at that. Oh, but okay.
All right, and now heading into December, all right, Just Cause 3 was just released, and again, this is another game. It's really fun for the first few hours until you realize the entirety of this game is just going from point A to point B by either parasailing, you know, with your parachute, or air gliding with the new wingsuit. That's the one major improvement in the game, is there's a wingsuit now that lets you go a lot faster than you used to, and you blow shit up. That's the whole fucking game. Blow shit up. And it's like, okay, for a few hours that'll get my interest, but how about a gripping story? How about some variety in the gameplay? No, blow shit up, blow shit up, blow shit up. Drive cars into stuff and blow it up. Take a jet and blow it up. Pull things with your fucking tether and explosive barrels and blow it up, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. And
now, the reason why he did not like the newest Just Cause 3 at that time was because someone gifted him, like, 2 of the games, or at least just 2, whatever, and he played them back to back. And then he got burned out in this game. I wonder why.
it's like, if you're such a Michael Bay junkie, like you go and see every Michael Bay movie,
Michael Bay
fucking
junkie, by the way.
Transformers and TMNT movies, you may like Just Cause 3, but for me, like, after a few hours, I get fucking bored. And it's funny because a lot of people were like, Phil, you should really play Just Cause 2 this summer before you play Just Cause 3 later in the year so you have a background for the game. Okay. I think it actually hurt my experience of Just Cause 3 because it's the same fucking game. So it's like the 5, 6, 7 hours that I played in the summer are exactly the same as what I did in Just Cause 3, and actually took away from the actual experience because I felt like I was playing the same fucking game and I already played it before. So I don't think Just Cause 3 is a very good game. I don't think it holds up. I think that maybe, you know, a decade ago, this is the kind of game because it was open world destruction. Okay, that's not enough to hold up anymore in 2015. And if really that's what you're dying for, good for you, adrenaline junkie. I'm not one of them.
Good for you.
Okay?
I love that every time he says that kind of shit, it's always good for you. Like, it's kind of passive aggressive. I don't know why he's passive aggressive to the people who like these games.
Siege. Wow. Like, wow, yuck.
Yuck.
How many things can I say about this game? First of all, I got it on Xbox One. It barely works. Like, half the time, the matchmaking doesn't work. When the matchmaking works, half the time you're jittering around the screen. There was one entire match I couldn't even move. Like, everyone else was able to play. My controller was on, just frozen in place. It's a known game bug. It was, like, terrible. And by the way, I didn't play the game on launch day. I played it 3 days later. So any of those initial launch day bugs should have been cleared up by then and weren't. When the game worked, it was kind of eh. And the reason I say that is, I'm sorry, but the Rainbow Six series is a series that needs to be played on PC. And the reasoning that I say that is because it's meant to be one of those twitchy shooter games where, oh god, I see someone, and immediately you react and you shoot them instantly and they die, because in these games, you get shot once or twice, you're dead. It's not like fucking Call of Duty where you can absorb 4,000 bullets before you die, okay? Here's the problem. With keyboard and mouse, you immediately can
what I
move the
love
mouse.
doing I like Rainbow Six in my oh my god, Rainbow Six is the name of the game. Rainbow Six Vegas. That was my favorite one, and it was mostly because I used to have a friend who would come over and we would just do terrace hunt and just see how many like bodies we could like pile up in the game to see how the game runs, and it got to the point where it was such a mountain of bodies. If we were to run in, the game's frames would go from like 30 to like 1. It was hilarious. I loved it, but they don't do that anymore. Sad day.
To aim and fire with the keyboard, you're done. With a gamepad, okay, I have to first aim with 2 usable thumbsticks, then I have to try to draw my gun using the trigger, then I have to try to depress the fire button. By the way, there's more latency and lag on consoles than on PC, so now all this happens, and sometimes you get shot and sometimes you shoot someone. So basically what it turns out to be is kind of like a combination of delay factors, and the game doesn't feel like it's really viable on console. I tried playing this game, and even when I had a good connection, it was like a toss-up if I killed someone or not. And it's frustrating because I used to play Rainbow Six. I played, not the original Rainbow Six, the one that came after. There was an expansion. I think it was called Rainbow Six 2 Rogue 6 or something like that. I played that one, and then there was an expansion to that one too. And I played them over the years, and I actually liked them on PC. But I really don't feel like this game is something that could be played on console. Oh, by the way, it's $60, and the game has a very limited amount of game modes and a very limited amount of maps. And again, multiplayer only. So again, if you really want to drop $60 for a game that's multiplayer only, oh boy, you know what I mean? Rogue Spear.
Remember when multiplayer only kind of got that response? Now it's like
Styles
cool
in the stream chat who said it was Rogue Spear. That was the one I played. I loved that game on PC, man. All right, and then really the only last thing that I've done recently, 2 things. I played the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta, and I fucking loved it. And I actually made a comment on Twitter that made a lot of people laugh. I said, is it sad that I just played, 2.5 hours of a multiplayer beta of Uncharted 4, and not only do I feel this game is better than the games that I've been playing like Star Wars Battlefront, but that's not a full game. When Uncharted 4 comes out, it's not going to be a $60 game just to play the multiplayer. You're going to pay $60. You're going to get this insanely awesome high production value campaign. That's the focus of it. The multiplayer is not even the focus, yet the multiplayer of that game is already better than Star Wars Battlefront. So go figure, right? But I loved it. I loved the fact there's these
like the
classes
multiplayer in
that you can
Uncharted
pick.
4.
Also, there's these assist kind of characters that after you get a certain amount of kills, you earn cash rewards. You spend the cash to hire these mercenaries who run around the map and help you during the matches. And I really like the multiplayer, and I cannot wait for Uncharted 4 now because the multiplayer was that fucking good, okay? All right. And the final thing is Yakuza 5, which I've only played once. I played it yesterday all day. And it seems par for the course for Yakuza. Kind of zany, over-the-top stuff tied in with this really over-dramatic kind of Japanese-centric cultural plot. And there's a wide variety of side content. Some of it's a lot more serious than other stuff, but it's still a lot of fun. It seems like it's going to be a long, drawn-out game. I enjoyed playing it on the first day, and I hope that you'll join me for the rest of that campaign, okay? All right. So, now what I want to do is I want to go through the games list. My voice is already starting to die, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the games list here, and then I'm going to take a break. Then we're going to come back, and I'll talk about Game Awards, PlayStation Experience, and my Back in the Day segment, all right? So,
all right.
Oh, excuse me. What I want to do is go through the games listing for early 2016 and let you know exactly what is out there that I'm interested in playing, and that way you'll know exactly what to expect. And I'll be honest, I looked this up the other day, and there is nothing going on in 2016 until January 19th. There's nothing. Like, there's no new releases. There's nothing of interest, at least to me, until the 19th. That game releases Resident Evil 0 HD. Capcom has remade Resident Evil 0, and they did it kind of like they did with Resident Evil, original
Resident Evil 0 remade. It's a remaster.
Resident Evil. Remember how they just redid that last year with the new HD visuals and controls and everything? Well, I've never played Resident Evil 0. All right? I've never played it at all. It's one of the very few Resident Evil games I've never played at all. So right now, the only games left in the Resident Evil series that I never played, Zero and Code Veronica. So there's not many left. And I want to play this. I'm dying to play it.
I'm like, I feel I'm really close to the end of Zero. Maybe I should stream it. Like, say, screw the context. Just stream myself playing Zero. It'll be fun. Fun time.
It'll be a really unique and original first-time experience for me in the Resident Evil universe. So that's what I'm going to be playing on January 19th. Lego Avengers comes out on January 26th. Now, that's not going to be a mainstream game that I play, but it may be something that I do cooperatively with Leanna, because we actually really like doing Lego Jurassic Park last year. Or actually, it was Lego Jurassic World. On the flip side of that, we played Lego Batman 3, and I fucking hated it. So I don't know how they're going to do. Is this going to be more like Lego Jurassic World, or is this going to be like Lego Batman? I wonder. Because it might be better or worse dependent on that. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Wait, which Lego game?
World or last year, or 26. Now, that's not going to be first-time experience for me in the Resident Evil universe. So that's what I'm going to be playing on January 19th. Lego Avengers comes out on January 26th.
You never played that one, I don't think.
That's not going to be a mainstream game that I play, but it may be something that I do cooperatively with Leanna, because we actually really like doing Lego Jurassic Park last year. Or actually, it was Lego Jurassic World. On the flip side,
this dude plays like such mean games with Leanna. The only real game he did with her was Resident Evil 5, and it is my favorite video because it kind of makes Leanna seem like a more competent gamer than Phil, who plays games for a living. Because there were many instances where Leanna was like, "Okay, Phil, you need to go here. Phil, where are you going? Phil, what the fuck are you doing?" And he's just like wandering around, and she's like, "Dude, the butcher guy is here," and he's just like, "Oh, okay, I'll be right there." Like, it is wild seeing it. But then after that, it was just Lego.
side of that, we played Lego Batman 3, and I fucking hated it. So I don't know how they're going to do. Is this going to be more like Lego Jurassic World, or is this going to be like Lego Batman? I wonder. Because it might be better or worse dependent on that. You know what I mean? There's a new game from the creators of Braid. That puzzle game from many years ago that was very popular. It's called The Witness. And being it's the next game that they're making, I'm interested in playing it. That's also January 26th. But I don't know if it's something that's going to fit into like a playthrough style. So I don't know. It's kind of something that's on my radar, but I'm not so super convinced about it yet. Mighty Number 9. That's right, the game from the creator of Mega Man finally comes out on February 9th, and I'm definitely going to be playing that. Naruto Ultimate Shippuden Ninja fucking Storm Kanji fucking Sequel no Jutsu, whatever the fuck the name of the game is.
You see how he loves Naruto so much? Doesn't know the name of the game. That's just Shippuden 3. Okay.
It's the final Naruto game that follows the story of the Naruto comics and anime. That comes out also on February 9th. And yes, I want to play that because I actually, several years ago, when I first adopted Direct Capture, I played the last one that followed the plot line of the Naruto games, and I really enjoyed it. And so I want to see how it ends, okay? And also, there's this other unique game called Firewatch that was shown at E3 this year. It's actually an exploration mystery game where you're supposed to be like a fire marshal / like park ranger. And you're out in this national park or woods or something, and all of a sudden there's reports of a missing person, and then all of a sudden you see that there's like a light coming out of one of the towers, so you go to investigate, but then you see signs that the person's been there, but they're not there anymore. So it's kind of like an exploration mystery game. We're going around trying to figure out where is this person, what happened to them, and I'm interested in checking that game out because it sounds pretty good to me. Street Fighter V on February 16th, and let's be honest here, I think we all know that Street Fighter V is going to be a focus of mine. I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter 4, when it came out, was a massive focus.
Street Fighter 5. Can't wait. This is going to be a focus, guys.
And Street Fighter 5 is probably going to be a major thing that I do several times a week. Even with all the new game releases coming out in 2016, it's probably going to be a game that I'm going to get into and play a lot, regardless of the fact that there's other stuff going on. So
look how much he loved Street Fighter 5 back then. Young Phil was all hyped up for Street Fighter 5. And then some loser had to tell him, "Hey Phil, did you know that, like Street Fighter 5 has 8-frame delay?" and that was the kiss of death. That fucker, whoever did that, fuck you.
Street Fighter V, February 16th. For some, it's probably the biggest release, or the first big release of the year. I kind of agree, and I am very pumped. You'll be seeing tons of coverage of that game from me, so expect it, okay? Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Yeah, the sequel to the game from, what was it, 2-3 years ago? And it was an Xbox One exclusive, is coming out on February 23rd. I'm excited for this because I loved that game. I thought it was one of the best third-person shooters I've ever played, quite honestly. But here's the thing. When that game was released, it was a discount title. I think it was $40 it was released for, and it had tons of free DLC. Well, guess what? This one's now being released for $60. It's kind of like, man, you kind of knew that your game wasn't strong enough to be a full $40 game when you released it at first. Now you make the sequel, so now you're going to up the price. And that's kind of lame because it is, again, a multiplayer-focused game like Battlefront and Rainbow Six Siege. All these games that I've kind of hinted at, they don't live up to the hype of being a full retail release. And this one now is being sold as a full retail release. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me. There's also Far Cry Primal supposedly coming out February 23rd. And what that is Far Cry, you know, Far Cry 3 and 4 that we just played the past few years. It's the same thing. Only now, there's no guns. It's you in, like, primitive times. Like, you're fighting fucking woolly mammoths and shit with spears and arrows. I mean, it could definitely be interesting. At the same time, if it's the same fucking game again, because I already played Far Cry 3, I already played Far Cry 4. If it's fucking basically Far Cry 3.5.2, or whatever you want to call it, it's the same game again, I don't know if it's really going to hold up, but we'll see what happens with that. Supposedly there's supposed to be a Walking Dead episodic game starring Michonne only.
Michonne.
And we're supposed to get that this year, some point earlier in the year, but there's no real release date yet. So I just wanted to put that down there. There is a re-release of Heavy Rain coming out for the PlayStation 4 on March 1st, but I don't know, honestly, if I'm going to play it because I've already played Heavy Rain. I just this year did the Best of Heavy Rain montage series that kind of reinvestigated my playthrough, and I don't think I'm going to really want to replay that game again. Twilight Princess HD. Yeah, Zelda Twilight Princess HD comes out March 4th. Yes, I want to play it.
This is the one
I
return to the
probably won't
woof.
get a lot of attention for it because whenever I play Nintendo games these days, no one really cares. But I want to play it. It's one of the few Zelda games I never play. Tom Clancy's The Division finally supposedly is coming out on March 8th. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not very excited for it. Seems like it's going to be multiplayer only. Seems like it's going to be like kind of all these other games that are shooters. I don't know. I'm just not hyped for it because how many shooters have come out over the past couple of years and then they just are like very disappointing. And this game's been hyped for years, but every time that we see it, they scrap something. So the first time we saw the game, they were like, oh, there's going to be all this tablet integration where someone on a tablet will be able to play as a fucking smart drone. And then we saw it at E3 last year and they completely fucking scrapped that whole idea. It's not in the game anymore. And it's like,
Yeah, because that sounds like a good idea.
You know, it is what it is.
What?
But at this, I don't know if I have any confidence in that being a good game. Hitman. The new Hitman game comes out March 11th. That I will be checking out. Uncharted 4, March 18th. Absolutely 100% I'm checking that out. The next MLB game comes out on March 29th. And here's the thing. I didn't play it last year. And last year, basically, I played certain sports games and not others. I think this year, if I play a sports game, it may be MLB. So that might be on my docket. There's a new Homefront game called The Revolution coming out on April 5th. I don't know about that. But the game I definitely will be playing on April 5th is Quantum Break, which is that game that was been now 2 years now been hyped up. And it's from the makers of Alan Wake and Max Payne. So this could definitely be an interesting game, and I definitely want to play that one. Dark Souls 3, April 12th. Duh. Yes, I'll be playing that. There's a new Ratchet & Clank coming out on April 12th that's supposed to be a reimagining of the original game. I don't know how I feel about that, and I don't know if I'm going to play it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Supposedly April 22nd. And then, of course, we're heading into May. You've got some uncertain stuff like Battleborn and the next Mirror's Edge game, which Mirror's Edge was supposed to originally come out last year. Then it was supposed to come out in February. Now it's delayed till May. Who knows when the fuck this game's going to come out. That's a flavor for what you can expect coming up in the next few months.
Guys, this is the holiday special. Look how Christmassy this was. Almost at 100 hours. We were 100 hours in, guys. An hour and 23 minutes in. Merry Christmas.
Several months in the early 2016 months. Some of these games I'll definitely be covering. Some maybe. It all depends on how things work out with this new plan of mine for gaming and vlogging and edited content. So we'll have to see. All right. All right, everyone, it's time for a break. My voice actually is killing me right now. So I'm going to take a small break. I'm going to probably take a lozenge to help my throat here. When we return after this break, I'll be talking a little bit about the Game Awards, a little bit about the PlayStation experience, and then a big back in the day segment. So about another hour left on the podcast tonight. If you're watching this live on stream, please be patient. I'll be back shortly. If you're watching this on demand on YouTube, I will put a description in the video, a timestamp. Just click on it and skip right ahead to the next segment so you don't have to stick around for the break, all right? I'll be right back, everyone. Thanks for watching. Where I say special thanks to the November patrons who pledged $10 or more to my Patreon account over here in the corner.
Here we go.
And right now you get your special shout out. So here we go. I'm actually doing this differently rather than having a physical list. I actually have the actual Patreon page open. So here we go. Hopefully this works. So special thanks and shout outs to Kazzy, Blaine Mayo, Justin Lango, Charlie Topher, or actually it's Topfer. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. I apologize. Joe Wiltshire, Jelsey1973, Matt Allen, Kevin Stiles, Brandon Cole, Tom Dooley, Low Tier Lord, Sammy Samosa, Ben Wynn,
Sam
Benson, Alan Hill, Erwin Hames, Jerica Chai, Fire Emblem Fan, Jose Fernandez, Mike Hunt 2018, Elysian, King Caboose 2003, Angus H.H. Young, Thomas McDonald, Hank Duma, Faithin 13, Papa Neeks, Sean Given, Devin Warren Rathbun, QPZMWN, don't ask me how I'm supposed to pronounce that one, Malawan, Krishan, Jesus with Lightsabers, that's a good one, Last Rambo 341, Logan Shannon, Bassoon Girl, Aaron Carpenter, Jacob Hendricks, The Hidden Boss, Planet Jeff, Neil Dave, Donovan.
Man, this is like a whale graveyard. Hank Duma, by the way, shouts out. When have we seen him before? Seen him again?
Louis, Saint Jimmy, and last but not least, Christine Gebhardt. Thank you very much to all of those patrons, again, who pledged $10 or more in the month of November. FYI, it's because of you that we're going to be doing a cool platforming marathon at the end of this month. In fact, right now the thread is open on thekingofhate.com. If you are a current patron and you have pledged $5 or more in the month of November, you can already vote on if you want to see me play Banjo-Kazooie HD, Conker's Bad Fur Day HD, or Crash Bandicoot 3. And, darn, I had a brain fart right in the middle of that sentence. Just FYI, for those of you who were November patrons, if you're not upgraded yet or you don't have your perks yet, you don't have the ability to vote yet, I'm going to take care of all that Sunday night. So FYI, okay? Sorry, I had a real bad brain fart right there in the middle. Speaking of Patreon, this month's goal will be set up by the end of this week, probably Sunday night. And ladies and gentlemen, the goal for December is going to be the Rockathon Part 2. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Rockathon that I just did at the very end.
Now, this Rockathon had a lot of drama tied behind it. It was a time. The first Rockathon, so the Rockathon, the way it began was, I don't know if it was Harmonix or Mad Cats, one of the two, gave Phil Rock Band 4 for free. He got that game for free. And he pitched the first Rockathon as, well, guys, since this might get copyright claimed and all this stuff, it has to be a Patreon goal, so you guys can, like, cover all that risk and all that stuff, and we could see if it works out as a playthrough, man. He really made it sound as if it was gonna be, like, a one-time goal, and then he would just do it, you know, for free or whatever. He then does it again, knowing he could, like, what he could do to monetize it. And it somehow ended up being worse. It was really fucking weird. I really don't remember this lore. You might have to watch, like, old Tevin videos to get the full grasp of it.
End of November was so popular, people loved it so much, they said it's so different and outside of the box from what you normally do, that we want to see you do it again. And it's going to be Rock Band 4 again, okay? This will take place, if we hit the goal for the month of December, it'll take place at the end of January 2016. And, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between this one and the last Rockathon is that this time, patrons who pledge $5 or more this month in December are going to be able to nominate what songs you want to see me play and sing, yada yada, whatever, during the Rockathon. And so I'm going to have a thread on thekingofhate.com where patrons will be able to post up, I want to see Phil do this song and this song from the game. And then what I'll do is I'll review that the night before the Rockathon, and I'll try to get, okay, this song was requested the most. This song was requested the second most. And I'll take note of that, and that's what I'll be doing during the Rockathon for some of it, okay? So the return of the
There was some drama with that too,
that,
because I think someone wanted him to sing a I don't know if it was Slipknot or what, but someone wanted to sing a song, and he didn't want to do it, and he yelled at his chat about like it was like no, my voice hurts. You want me to die?
The goal, and we can do that again because I had a lot of fun with the Rockathon at the end of November, and I certainly want to do it again. Okay. All right, enough of that.
Oh my god,
let's talk the Game Awards.
Swishing,
if you don't know, the Game Awards was a gaming award show, held on Spike TV. Now, the thing is this. The Game Awards that have been held on Spike TV have had a sordid history. They started out I think it was more than a decade ago, actually, as the Spike Video Game Awards. And at that time, it was hilarious because a lot of the stuff that went on the show, they had celebrities coming out who didn't even really understand the games and stuff that they were talking about. And then they would, oh, here's a cool VR thing. And you're looking at it, it's like, what the fuck does that have to do with the Game Awards? Nothing. And ultimately, it kind of, over the years, just degenerated. It degenerated into, like, just fucking advertisements. And then one year, it wasn't even televised. They only had it online, and they were swearing up the ass. And I was like, what the fuck am I even watching? Like, this is crap. So this year, they have the
They had swearing. What the fuck, man? Okay.
And to their credit,
I don't know. That was
I did
funny
not
to
see
me.
the Game Awards because I don't like watching these award shows anyway. But from what I've heard, it was a lot
This
more.
dude doesn't like watching award shows, but every year he has a fucking opinion on it. Every year, I don't like watching award shows, but I have an opinion about this award show. He does the meme that people criticize trolls of being. You hate Phil, and yet you watch videos of him. Well, Phil, you don't like fucking the Video Game Awards, and yet you watch everyone have an opinion on it.
Professional, it was a lot more well done. They actually had people as insiders from the gaming industry a part of it, which is good. Thank you. You're going a step in the right direction with that, all right? There's two things in particular at the Game Awards that people seem to have wanted.
Now, this was modern day Phil. He would say, well, you see, Jeff Keighley, sir, he, like, busted his butt for this Game Award, right? And last year, it was like, fuck, titty, fuck, ass. But this time, he made it serious. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Really. Thank you, Jeff. You made a good show. And now he's not even name-dropping the guy. What did Jeff Keighley do to make Phil fall in love with him? It's so weird. Out of nowhere, it seems DSP started to have like a romance with the guy.
My opinion on. The first is the Game of the Year winner that was picked by the panel. And if you look at the panel that they picked who voted on these awards, it was basically people from all over. People from gaming media, game developers, like all over the gaming industry, all right?
Here it says the game developers, reviewers, all these people get to vote on it. Now, only the elite journalists get to vote on it. What a fucking stupid panel. Okay.
All these people were involved. The Game of the Year was given to The Witcher 3, and Developer of the Year was given to CD Projekt Red. Now, up front, I want to say,
Developer of the Year.
I know for a fact there's tons of people who absolutely say that The Witcher 3 is their pick for Game of the Year, and quite honestly, The Witcher 3 is going to be in my top 10 Games of the Year countdown. I don't know if it's going to win Game of the Year. It's certainly in contention. The game is incredibly long, has an insane amount of content, has one of the best narratives ever made for a fucking game, let alone an RPG, and it's just really well done. You could tell the game developers really loved what they were doing, and when they did this, they said, we want to make an RPG masterpiece. We're not going to put out a rushed piece of crap. We're not going to do it just for the sake of making a game. We want to really make a game that's going to resonate in the minds of the gamers who buy it. And really, when you spend $60 on Witcher 3, you are going to feel like you've gotten so much fucking bang for your buck and so much quality, as opposed to some of the other games I just mentioned on the podcast, $60 games that are just multiplayer that you're done with in 4 hours, okay?
Okay.
Now, I personally, I said this stuff in my review of Witcher 3, and I'm going to stick to it, have a few issues with people who've kissed the ass of Witcher 3 all year. I'm going to say this publicly right now, all right? And you can completely disagree with me, and it's fine. This is my personal opinion. Understand, this is not me.
Every year, it's always, yeah, okay, I don't hate you, and guys need to be okay. It's okay if you disagree. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. This as a definitive fact, this is my take on the situation. Even though The Witcher 3 is an amazing game, it has flaws. And it has a lot of flaws in ways that really kind of, in my opinion, hold it back from being such an amazing game.
This dude says this back then. Fast forward to Cyberpunk year, and he's just like, yeah, man, this game is terrible. It's nowhere near as good as Witcher 3 was a masterpiece. It was a work of art, and it was beautiful, and it made me cry gamer tears, man. And Cyberpunk, man, it's just titty, fuck, Keanu Reeves fucks a girl. Why is it like this? This isn't the CD Projekt Red I know. It's such a stupid game, man. And now they might not make games anymore.
There's so many, I saw reviewers, not just mainstream reviewers, but YouTubers or whatever, saying that Witcher 3 is 10 out of 10. Then you watch the review and they're like, well, this could have been improved, and this was a flaw, and this was a flaw, 10 out of 10. And I say to you, no, you can't do that. You cannot give a perfect score to a game that you're actually admitting in your review is imperfect. And I feel that because there were so many people who were like, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, oh yeah, it has all these flaws, but we're just going to sweep those under the rug and just kiss the game's butt. I think that's why the game has gotten such popularity and why so many people are caught up in this hype of Witcher 3. And again, understand, I'm not saying the game is bad. I think the game is amazing. It's definitely a Game of the Year contender for me. But I hate the fact that people will say, oh, this is the best RPG of all time. And I'm like, well, what was so good about the combat? Because wasn't the combat the same as Witcher 2? Wasn't it the same kind of convolutedness where there was parrying and there was potions and there was these
parrying is
oils and salves and you could throw bombs and you had a lot of shit? And guess what? You didn't need one of those things. Like, you could just play it as like a standard action RPG and get through the game fine without any of that overcomplicated shit in the game. In addition, the camera had issues during combat. The camera, just like a lot of these action RPGs, would get stuck or would not be a good angle to tell what the hell's going on, right? There are issues with the dodging during combat, where the dodging wasn't responsive, or the dodging wouldn't act the same way in certain situations as it's supposed to. And just based off of that, that's only one thing I have to say about the game, right? And right there, it's not 10 out of 10. At least from my perspective, there's no way I would give a game that I know has flaws 10 out of 10. For me, here's really the way that I view The Witcher 3, okay?
Okay.
They basically looked at Witcher 2 and said, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And really, not many people complained about The Witcher 2 when it came to the combat and that stuff. If anything, the only complaint was that the game was too hard. So we're going to make this game more dumbed down and easier to play for the mainstream person. You could still make it as difficult as Witcher 2 if you up the difficulty, okay? But instead of focusing on the core gameplay of the game, which is really the crafting system, the inventory system, the looting system, the combat, we're not going to worry about that shit. We're going to worry about the story, the characters, the amount of content, the amount of stuff to do in the game, the fact that the game branches and you can do different things in different orders. And they did an amazing job with that. If you want to ask me what's the best narrative so far this year, now keep in mind I haven't finished Fallout 4 yet. But right now I have to say best story of the year so far, Witcher 3. Because it's just that good. It's long, it's involved, it grips you, you want to keep playing it. And there's even, there's entire side quest veins that you could skip if you want, but if you do them, they're rewarding and you get more information on characters, and it really is worth it. So for me, I understand why people will say I love this game, but can anyone who said that Witcher 3's Game of the Year at the Game Awards explain to me what that this developer did? CD Projekt Red gets Developer of the Year, right? What did they do that was so amazing and outside the box to deserve that title, and what did this game do? besides having the best story of the year and the most content, no groundbreaking combat. The crafting is the same. Everything's the same. So it's kind of like, no, I would
You
rather
want
look at a game.
something new, but then shits on Cyberpunk for not being Witcher 3. This game is like Witcher 2. It's stupid. Cyberpunk is something different. It's stupid. It should be Cyberpunk. Oh my god. CD Projekt Red should just make Witcher, guys. They need to stick with Witcher. Cyberpunk just isn't good, man. It's like terrible. It's not as good as Witcher, man. They should have really made Witcher.
Game, right? Bloodborne. Bloodborne took the formula of Dark Souls and added in ranged combat. It added in more fast-paced action, right? It actually made the game more open world, and it allows you to have, again, more optional ways to do stuff, and the optional bosses. It really was kind of like almost Dark Souls on steroids. Bloodborne, a step up from the previous games made from Software, right? Or you look at a game, I'm trying to think of another Game of the Year contender, right? And, you know, forgive me because unfortunately I don't have the list in front of me.
What about MGS5?
Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh,
right?
Arkham Knight.
Took the formula of Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but also integrated in some really cool and almost seamless Batmobile mechanics into the game. You could definitely say, yeah, this game's different than the other two because they added in all this fun stuff.
Batmobile was fun.
How could you say that about Witcher 3? You know what I mean? Again, you could disagree with
Batmobile was
but
fun.
for me,
Okay.
I was wanting more.
Sure.
I was playing this game, and every time I played it, I was like, I love when I'm in a story. I love when I'm talking to a character. I got dialogue options. I love the stuff, the plot, how it goes. I love the side questing. And then I get to combat, and I'm like, ugh. And then I get to crafting and looting, and I'm like, ugh, it's tedious. It's fucking still. They didn't improve this at all. The combat's frustrating. You ever fight a giant fucking tough boss in this game that's above your level? It's the most fucking tedious, annoying thing ever. Because you want to be able to tackle that high-level boss, but because of the limitations of the combat and the maneuvering of the camera and everything, it's so fucking frustrating. So for me... For me to kiss this game's ass and say, oh, it's Game of the Year, if you wanted to say best story of the year, best narrative of the year, I fully agree. Most content, most bang for your buck, sure. And you know what? So someone actually on the forums, on my forums, gave me a good point. They said, Phil, maybe CD Projekt Red won Developer of the Year, not because of the game itself, but because after the game was released, they continuously released free DLCs and improvement patches for the game. They didn't just say, oh, the game's out, well... fuck you, the game's out, and that's it, you paid $60. I don't care that there's bugs and shit, and they constantly were putting out new stuff. You know what? That's a fair point, and if that's why CD Projekt Red won Developer of the Year, I actually agree, because what other developer goes above and beyond like that, right? But,
now,
again,
he says this, right, about Witcher 3 getting all these updates and patches and support. Cyberpunk, you know, got the same amount of care when it got released. I mean, at least it got the attempt of care. I mean, I'm sure by now it's like playable. I talked to a lot of PC people, so a lot of people like really love Cyberpunk and all this stuff, but I liked it too. I did like Cyberpunk, but I did see some issues with it, but it still was a playable game. I still enjoyed it all the same. It could have been better. I think the launch, and it's still a little bit rough around the edges, but I think there is something there that can be fun in Cyberpunk, and that's what I liked about it. I think the heart of the game is still there with all its faults, and yet, you know, CD Projekt Red, you try to fix it, they try to improve it, and all this stuff. They just got dealt a bad hand, in my opinion. And then, like, DSP, now it's like, oh, they released all these patches, man, oh my god, look how stupid this is! What idiots! And I'm just sitting there thinking, this dude would complain if they didn't update it. If they didn't update it at all, he'd say, wow, man, they didn't update it at all! What idiots, man! They didn't even try to fix it! But then they try to fix it. Look, they're trying to fix it because the game sucks, man! Can never win. You can never win with Phil.
Did they really go crazy and improve the game? Not really. They just put more into it. It said, let's take Witcher 2, but put more. So it's like Witcher 2 with an extra half of a game in there. Is Witcher 3. Is that 10 out of 10 perfect game of the year? I don't know. So that's all I have to say about that. But the one thing that people really were, up in arms about was that Hideo Kojima, all right, his Metal Gear Solid 5 won Action Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And he was not allowed to attend. And there was a lot of controversy around this. And Jeff Knightley, who was the host of the
Jeff Knightley. That's his name. Jeff Knightley. Now DSP would never get this name wrong. He remembered his name. He probably tattooed his name somewhere.
show, kind of spoke out of turn, and a lot of people were wondering if he was supposed to say this or not on camera, but he basically said, listen, the reason that Hideo Kojima is not here is not because he wasn't involved or he wasn't invited. It's because he was told he could not attend by Konami. Now, a lot of people were up in arms about this and didn't, I don't understand, how could Konami control him? He doesn't work for them anymore.
Oh, here we go.
A lot of people don't realize this, all right? But when you're contracted with a company, and especially when you have an ending to a relationship between a company you're contracted with, you're going to have settlement terms. And apparently what I would assume happened with Kojima was that since he doesn't work for Konami anymore, they had a settlement where he probably received a certain amount of money for what was left on his contract. And there were probably terms, and in the terms was probably what's called a non-compete clause. Now what that means is that Hideo Kojima, for a certain set period of time, whatever it says in this contract, cannot make any more games, cannot do anything that would be viewed as direct competition to Konami. Okay? In fact, basically what they're saying is they're giving you a settlement, so he received some kind of money probably for having this contract ending. And they basically said, take a paid vacation. You're not allowed to work on games. You're not allowed to be involved in any kind of other projects until the time period in the contract's over. Then you can. But right now you're on paid vacation and go away. And that's why, since the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, except for the official Konami-approved stuff, you haven't heard anything from Hideo Kojima. You notice that? There have been no interviews, nothing about, gee, what's the future, Hideo? No one's gotten to do that because he can't do it. He's in a non-compete clause with Konami. So that's what's going on. And it's not like, a lot of people are, oh, evil Konami, fuck Konami. And I, to some extent, agree. I mean, let's face it, Hideo Kojima is one of the most renowned game developers in gaming history.
Renowned.
And the fact that he has such respect, right, for this game series that he's made, and the fact that it wins a major award, and then he's told you can't even accept the fucking award. Is it disrespectful? Absolutely. But I hate to tell you, business isn't always respectful,
Business is not always respectful. Oh, man. DSP in the past is a fucking gem. It's a fucking gem. Because he cries and cries and cries about how Twitch fucked him over, disrespected him. What a piece of shit site. Fuck them. Kojima gets fucked over by Konami. Well, that's just the business, man. Business is not always respectful. It is what it is. But then he gets a short end of the stick. Oh my god! Fucking Twitch, man! You know what? DSP should tweet at Kojima saying, hi Kojima, I'm just like you. You got fucked over by Konami, I got fucked over by Twitch. I understand you. We're brothers, dude.
In business, we're just going to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you a pass on this one, Hideo. Go ahead, go to the awards and say whatever you want, even if some of it might be anti-Konami. No, they're not going to let him do that. So I'm certainly not surprised that he was not allowed to attend these game awards, and I think a lot of people didn't understand the reason. It's just legal shit. It's behind the scenes. I don't agree with it. Yeah, I think that definitely that Mr. Kojima should be able to receive any fucking award for anything that he's done. It's ridiculous that he couldn't, but that's what happens in business. I have non-compete clauses. I'm in contracts with Machinima, and it would be like, imagine this. Imagine if I had multiple YouTube channels, and one was with this company, and one...
He says this, but in the beginning of the video, he literally said he might go to another company if if Machinima does not partner KO Gaming. He literally said that.
One was with this company and one was with this company, right? Now, my name is what sells those channels, right? So what's going to happen is if you're any company you become a partner with is going to say, well, we don't want you to have partnerships with other companies because that's us promoting you, putting stuff into your work, right? Promotion or whatever, and it makes you famous, but then you're going to go use that notoriety to make money with other companies too, and we don't want that. So it's with everything. I'm even in YouTube contracts, you have these non-compete clauses. So it didn't surprise me that this was happening. And although it's very upsetting and everyone was kind of really pissed off about it, I could understand why it happened, and it's bullshit, but that's business, you know? And I'm sure Mr. Kojima made a ton of money with Konami, and he's not upset with the amount of money he made. Creatively, he might be frustrated that he can't accept awards and make a new game yet, but the money's there, so really, can he complain is the question.
Can he complain? I just love that he said he could be mad, but can he complain? He got money. Everything's about money with him. Like, Kojima can't complain because he got money, guys. He can't complain. Like, okay.
Now let's talk about PlayStation Experience. I really don't have too much to talk about. The big controversy out of this PlayStation Experience conference that happened this past Saturday, number one was that Yakuza 5 was coming out this week because no one had any fucking clue. And all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, Yakuza 5 is being translated for Western audiences and released on Tuesday. And everyone's like, But the other thing that caused mass
I think they were surprised in a good way because that game was not localized at all. And it's like, and Yakuza's always had a long history of having a hard time making it to the West. It was like it's like a meme, and now we can't get enough of them.
Final Fantasy VII. They show it finally. They show some of it, and it looks like the animated movie, or it wasn't really animated. The CGI movie, Advent Children, from the mid 2000s that came out.
Was this when they announced the remake?
Style they're going for here. And it becomes very apparent as you're watching it that it's not a turn-based RPG. It's going to have, like, more open action-based combat and all this. And immediately people, oh, fuck this. Fuck this shit. This is...
DSP is mocking people for this, when he also said the same shit when he played it. I like classic turn-based RPG. I don't like this hybrid stuff. Okay.
Take the classic fucking Final Fantasy. They ruined it. They make a remake of Final Fantasy. You don't have turn-based combat, and they don't look the same. And you know, I can understand if you're a super...
Dude, you did this when the game came out. He didn't like it because it wasn't like the classics. And he's mocking them in 2015. What is this guy? What is this guy? This guy is crazy. This guy is insane, man.
I'm a fanboy of Final Fantasy VII, okay? I could definitely understand people being up in arms because if you wanted a remake of it, you basically wanted it to have those classic things in it. You want the classic feel of Final Fantasy VII in your remake of the game. But times change, and the bottom line is, if they re-released Final Fantasy VII right now, okay, with updated graphics and some updated plot and voice acting and the same old, antiquated gameplay, people wouldn't fucking like it. People would review it and be like, this fucking sucks, it's turn-based, it takes way too fucking long, why the hell did they do this? They had a chance to improve it and they didn't.
Yeah, it's not like Persona 5, guys. I you know what? I've been growing more and more, confused, I guess, would be the term. Because if turn-based was so antiquated and it reviewed so poorly, etc., then why was Persona 4 such a big hit? Why are all these other turn-based games succeeding? Like, I would agree that, like, yeah, turn-based RPGs are hard to sell. Like, sales numbers, sure, okay. But review-wise, they've done pretty well, usually. Okay.
They're trying to cater to modern audiences. And I understand why they're doing it. If you're going to remake a game and put all this money into a remake of a game that fans want, you need to make sure that it's got to appeal to everyone. It'll appeal to the fans because it has the characters and you know, all that, the classic stuff from the old game, but it also has all this new stuff that modern gamers would want to play. And it's cool because what you're doing is you're taking this well-revered and renowned game from the past and you're reintroducing it to a whole new audience by making it more modernized. The same thing happened with the Resident Evil remake this year where people were like, oh, Resident Evil with modern controls, and I understand.
That Resident Evil thing was also, like, I think you overplayed it, because I don't think anyone really cared that much that they added new controls to it. Because it's still the same game. They didn't change the game. Whatever.
But, you know, the times change. And right now, turn-based combat in RPGs is not popular anymore. How often do you even see the turn-based combat anymore? Let's face it. It's very antiquated. You know what I mean? There's certain games like Disgaea 5. Okay, Disgaea 5, because it is that more strategic grid-based RPG, you'll see turn-based combat. But the era of classic turn-based RPGs is pretty much over at this point. You know, the last one I played, I think, was Lost Odyssey. You know, I played, what was it?
Lost
Blue
Odyssey?
Dragon and Lost Odyssey. And since then,
Lost Odyssey? Yeah, I guess Persona never happened. Persona 4 Golden, oh no, actually no, he didn't play that one. He played Persona 4, which was like 2008. Okay.
I don't think I've fucking even seen one, right? They're all this action-based combat now. You know what I mean? Where you're kind of running around and, recently we just had Final Fantasy X's HD collection. And yes, that game's turn-based combat. I agree. But that's different. That was kind of like, it wasn't a remake. It was just upgrade the game to HD graphics, but it was the same game. This is a remake from the ground up of Final Fantasy VII, so I understand why it's different. Okay? Alright, the only other thing from real PlayStation experience that I want to mention was Ni no Kuni 2. Whoa. What? Yeah, Ni no Kuni 2. If you remember, Ni no Kuni is the JRPG from the mind of Mr. Miyazaki. Yes, the guy who made
Mr.
all
Miyazaki.
of the insanely famous and very popular Japanese
Mr.
RPGs.
Miyazaki!
Oh, God. Japanese anime movies.
Japanese
over the
anime?
years. And he teamed up with, game
I think he
developers
only
to
worked on
make
the first
Ni
one,
no
though.
Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, many years ago. It was, 2013. And it was actually a game that I played right before I adopted Direct Capture. So unfortunately, this game, even though it's gorgeous, the visuals didn't really come through in the gameplay footage that I put up because I was still using a camera in front of my fucking TV, if you can believe it.
You did do
And I loved Ni no
remaster.
Kuni. If it was one of my picks for, what game of the year, it was fun as hell, and it had a great story, and it had optional content, and it really was well fleshed out. The graphics were great. Everything about Ni no Kuni I loved. And I am ecstatic that they have mentioned that there's going to be a sequel now. Like, I am so happy because I really thought it was going to be a one-off. That's it. A one-off. This is a one-of-a-kind thing.
It is technically a one-off because I don't think Miyazaki worked on the second game. I think this is a whole different studio that because I think the company that did the game owned the IP. So they're just like, hey, we can just fucking do whatever we want with it. Miyazaki is free as a... He goes over there. We got our own guy.
Once in a lifetime, enjoy this Miyazaki video game team up because you're never going to see it again. And now they're fucking making another one. I'm like, yeah! Like, for me, that's me fanboying out because I want to play this game badly. Like, I cannot wait for this game to be released and do a playthrough of it because I want to play Ni no Kuni 2. Hoi! And, of course, it'll look great. Hoi, what the hell? It'll look
Every Japanese game, every Japanese, he always says hoi. Take that as you will.
great with my Direct Capture setup and everything. And the other cool thing, how cool is this?
How cool is
So,
this?
when I played Ni no Kuni 1, it was on PlayStation 3, and that was back when, I lived alone in Connecticut, and at night I would grind, right? And I can't really do that anymore. But it's going to be on PS4. I have a PS Vita. I could use remote play, and I could still grind, and I could still... So the playthrough will be fast-moving. You want to see me grind through...
Yeah, that totally happened. Oh yeah.
repetitive enemies. I'll be doing it at night every night as I'm
Snap,
playing
snap,
the game.
snap.
And I'll be
I
able to
fucking
get to the
hate-
boss.
Oh
Now,
my
there
God,
was no
fucking stop.
really,
I hate
there was no real
every time he snaps. It's fucking obnoxious. Like, I'm over it. Come on.
Release date given. Like, I wish they could say, "Oh, coming out this fall," but no, they didn't do that. They didn't go that far. But whenever it comes out, I'm gonna play it. Fuck it. Yes, I'm playing it. Absolutely. Okay.
Slurpy.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to end tonight's podcast. I guess I'll put the Christmas hat back on, right? The Santa hat.
Oh, no
It's the
news.
special holiday
Oh,
segment.
I was hoping
And
for a
what
new
we're gonna talk
segment
about in
like
this
the
segment,
last
a little bit,
one.
I want to discuss what Leanna and I have been doing recently to celebrate the holidays, and then I want to do a cool back in the day segment about trimming the Christmas tree and Christmas decorations and traditions. All right, so Leanna and I this year kind of went a little bit more all out than we did than last year. Last year we had decorations, but it was more like preliminary stuff before we knew what was viable with the house, and we were still kind of getting settled in. We didn't really know exactly what we wanted to do. This year, we basically took all the stuff we had last year and we actually used it all. And my parents actually sent us some cool decorations this year. So downstairs in the living room, just tell you, we've got an end table. On the end table are these 2 light-up ceramic figurines. One's Santa and one's like a snowman. And they do multiple colors every night. They turn on for like 6 hours or so at night. And then we've got a little tree. It almost looks like the Christmas tree from Charlie Brown, but it's not that one. It's like a different one with little lights on it, and we turn that on at night. And then we have Christmas stockings that we hang in front of our fireplace, because we actually have a fireplace. Not a real one. It's a gas fireplace, but we hang these stockings in front of those. And then we've got another one of those little ceramic things that my parents bought for us on there's like a little, almost like a sill, an open sill between the living room and the dining room, so that's there. And then we've got the Christmas tree, which is awesome. We've got the big tree, and this year is a Winter Wonderland theme. Last year, we went for traditional Christmas, so we had like red and green. This year, no, it's all silver, metallic with blue, and it's a mixture between those two, so it's almost like a Winter Wonderland frozen kind of icy theme.
Frozen.
And so that's what we've been doing, is every night we change the Christmas lights to a different color, but really the best one is there's a setting that it's blue lights, but half of them twinkle, and as they twinkle, they go from white to blue, and it looks fucking awesome, man. And I'm just like, damn, seriously, it looks so fucking sweet. I'm so happy that that's our Christmas setup. And then we also have this light-up garland that we have wrapped all the way around up our banister, up the staircase going to the second floor, and that lights up, too. It's got lights on it, and that we have plugged in. So we went kind of all out this year. The funny thing is, we didn't spend...
I don't get that kind of decor, dude. I like some statues or like whatever, put some of this around, hang this around somewhere, this is a totally cool little fig, get that around, get that going, get Ram going. I get that. A little Santa statue, whatever. But I don't get the like garland around the stairs. I don't know. That's just not me. That's not my speed.
And a dime. All this stuff is either pre-bought or sent to us from my parents, so we didn't spend any money on the Christmas decorations this year. It was all still here, and the house looks great, and we're very excited about that.
No money, guys.
And we also have outdoors a Christmas wiener dog. It looks like a dachshund, but it has like a Christmas hat and sweater on, and it has lights, and we put that on our front lawn. Unfortunately, the thing, it's windy. It's been very windy and wet. Lots of rain here this past week. Every day we come, it's blown over and falling apart. We have to keep reassembling it every night. So our house looks great.
I almost thought that was Cookie,
the
Christmas
reason
pooch.
That this back in the day segment that is coming up is because the other day I was downstairs in the front hallway of my house, and I'm looking at my Christmas tree, and I'm kind of reminiscing back to when I was a kid, right? And I'm looking, I'm trying to, I got the clicker because it has a big remote control for our tree. It's a fake tree, obviously. It has a remote control for our tree, and I start to go through the options. I'm like, oh, look, we can make it all red, all blue, all green. We can alternate between colors. We can have a combination of colors. I'm going through this. Oh, it could twinkle. It could just flash. It could do this. I'm like, damn. And this is one tree. The tree has all these fucking options, right? And I'm like, that is so different from when I was a kid. Like, people don't even know how hard it was to do this kind of shit when I was a kid. And then I said, for the hell of it, let me test something. I walk up to one of the bulbs on the tree that's been lit all day, right? And I hold it with my fingers, and it's ice cold. And I'm like, oh my God. So let me explain to everyone. Let's go back to a different era. Let's go back to the mid-1980s when I was growing up as a kid. And I want to tell you what it was like.
Dude, I had lights in the 90s, guys. Get this. Back in my day, when I was like 6 years old, 1996. I know, I'm crazy. Oh, when we used to hang the tree and decorate it, the lights they were hot. I tell you, I touch it, it's like bam, baby. But it didn't really burn my finger at all. It was just like, oh, it's a little warm.
Around Christmas time. Around Christmas time, it was a special time of the year. Because that would mean that all these holiday traditions would happen. First of all, my mother would actually bake. I don't even know what the traditional names of this thing is. It's a Polish tradition. It's this pastry that she would make. It would almost be like, think of a jelly roll. You ever seen a jelly roll?
Oh my God.
Roll, how it's got fluffy kind of cake, and then it's got like filling of jelly inside of it.
The strips?
Now think of that, but only instead of fluffy cake, it's like a bread, like breaded pastry. And instead of like the jelly filling, it's got fruit or nuts. Like one of them, she would have raisins inside. One of them,
think
there
it's
would
better
be like
without
walnut.
this.
One of them had poppy seeds. So it was
Pappy.
this really unique kind of Polish pastry, and she would spend like
Yeah.
a day.
I wonder if she could do that now. For some reason, I can't find any poppy seed bagels anywhere. I could find like a Kaiser roll for like a hamburger, but the bagel, I can't find it anymore. I don't know why. Is it like? And I tried googling it, and I kept coming up with like articles saying, "Can poppy seeds give you a false positive for drug tests?" And I was like, "What? Huh?" And I'm like, "Is this why they don't sell the poppy seed bagel anymore because of this?" Like, I don't know. So weird.
Before Christmas, like a couple days before Christmas, making these rolls out in the kitchen. So she would have the tables out, like spread out, stretched out, and she would be there decked out in her apron, baking all day, hand making the dough and hand making, rolling these pastries. Because it wasn't just for our family; it was for everyone we knew. Our great aunt, my great aunt and great uncle loved it, and my mom's cousins, who is actually my godfather, his family loved it. So we basically make rolls for each family and bring it over to them for them to eat during Christmas time. And then my mom would traditionally around, I'd say right after Thanksgiving, start playing Christmas music. We had this stereo in the living room, and she would have the Time Life Classic Christmas Collection that she would play on cassette, and it would go emanate through the house, this Christmas music from like the 1960s all the way up to like the 1980s. This montage of different Elvis and freaking all the classic Christmas carols that you hear all the time, like the classic renditions of them, Perry Como and stuff like that. She would have all those in the Time Life Christmas collection, and that was really awesome to have this festive kind of thing going on in the house. And we also had an Advent calendar. This is, for those who don't know what this is, for Catholics and for anyone who celebrates Christmas.
It's the same shit
a
every
period of,
time.
4 days before
You know what
Christmas,
Advent
it's called Advent. It's
calendar
supposed to be, like,
is?
the build-up to
Is he gonna
Christ's
tell us
birth
how he
on
had
Christmas Day.
not
It's a
two,
calendar
like
you
multiple
hang.
cheese?
Now, there's different ways to do it. Some people, they get one, and each day there's a door you open, and there's candy inside. Sometimes it's just a calendar where you open a door, there's a picture inside or something. And we've had both. But then my mom actually bought this tree, this ceramic tree, with these golden medals. They weren't real gold. They were like fucking tin, and they were like fake gold plated. So it was all fake. But every day you would it's December 3rd. You got to hang the third medal, right? And every morning we would wake up as kids. We would hang the new medal on the tree. Hang the new medal. It was a way to build up anticipation for Christmas. And then a couple weeks before Christmas, we would put up our Christmas trees. Now, I say trees because, yeah, we actually had more than one tree. I lived with my parents, but also my cousin, who was 5 years older than me, female. She lived with us too. She was kind of like my sister for several years until she grew up and finally moved out. And so we would have the family Christmas tree in the living room. And this was a big green colored tree, okay? And I remember it was fake. We never had a real tree. It was always a fake tree. Because for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a fire hazard. My parents never wanted a real tree. We always went for the fake tree, okay? So giant, green fake tree.
That was weird. I don't know why.
Various lights. I remember when I was a younger kid, I wanted colored lights. Colored lights are traditional, right? Colored lights are what you look for when you have a Christmas tree. You want a colored lights with tinsel or garland, right? And then a variety of ornaments and some kind of a topper, star or angel, whatever you want on the top of your tree. Well, I remember doing that a few years. After a few years, my mom, if we're going to do this every year and I do the majority of the work, I want it to be my tree. She wanted peach. Yeah.
Look at this. What the story? The story has changed.
Well, with tinsel or garland, right?
The story
and then
has changed.
Ornaments and some kind of a topper, star or angel, whatever you want on the top of your tree. Well, I remember doing that a few years. After a few years, my mom, if we're going to do this every year and I do the majority of the work, I want it to be my tree.
Before, in 2013, I'm so happy I'm doing this little video series because it makes DSP seem like a great son. He tells us in the 2013 or 14, 13, it was 13, Christmas video. Okay, my mom, oh my god. It's okay, she's one of these people that wanted her way or not at all. So, she wanted this tree to be her tree. all this stuff, which is passive aggressive as fuck, as I said before, right? And now we get a new lore. Oh, she did the majority of the work, so if we're doing the same shit and I'm doing the majority of the work, I want to be my tree, which is a fair criticism to make if she's doing the majority of the work. So DSP is pretty much mad that his mom is mad that they're being lazy bums about the tree, and she can't do the tree her way since the two people who want the tree a certain way are doing less of the work. And yet DSP tells us his mom is the selfish one. Oh, she's so selfish. She wants it her way. But here he says that she was doing majority of the work. And then he gives her the fucking troll voice. What a great son. Amazing son. Well, you know, his mom is lucky. His mom is lucky to have him.
She wanted peach, yeah, if you could believe this, peach garland, peach ornaments.
The anger.
Well, if we're going to do this every year and I do the majority of the work, I want it to be my tree. She wanted peach, yeah, if you could believe this.
This is 2015. This happened years ago, and he's so mad. She wanted peach. Yeah, I can't even believe it. So fucking mad about a woman who is mad that they're not doing their fair share on decorating the tree. Like, okay.
Peach garland, peach ornaments, and this, like, peach angel to top the tree. And I'm not saying it was a bad-looking tree. I'm just saying that was her tree. Because basically, you know...
I'm not saying it's a bad tree. I'm just saying, can you believe it looks like this? It looks like that. It looks like this. I'm not saying it's a bad tree. I'm just saying it's not my tree. Not my tree.
We wanted a nice family tree, and after a few years, she was like, no, if I'm doing this, I'm going to do it how I want it. And at that point, it was like, well, if you don't like my tree, you could have your own trees in your room. And that's what happened. We ended up getting our own trees in our own bedrooms. So I ended up getting this smaller green, like, fake Christmas tree with colored lights, and it would have a few ornaments here or there. Now, my tree was very kiddie-oriented, meaning it had, like, Disney stuff on it. Eventually, I ended up getting things like superheroes, Ninja Turtles. There was an ornament of that on it, that kind of stuff. And it would be, you know, kiddie kind of stuff. My cousin, she was older than me. She had a white tree. So the whole tree wasn't green at all. It was a white fake tree. It was small, by the way. These were mini trees. Not even, I'd say, not even like 4 feet tall. Okay, very small. And her tree had blue lights. So it was a white tree, blue lights, and she would put blue ornaments and stuff on it. So that was a very different looking tree than the typical Christmas tree that you would think about for Christmas. And so I remember...
Very different.
You know, doing this, because not only would we put up the tree together, the family, but when we were putting up the tree, also, we would also do... When I was a kid, I remember we had this train. It was a Christmas train. It was a little, you know, toy, a plastic train that you could put going around the tree, around the foot of the tree. And that thing was crazy, because it was like, it would run on batteries, but it would generate fake steam. Don't ask me how. And it was funny because it would always run off the freaking tracks after like a minute.
Whoa.
And I remember, it's funny the things you remember when you think back.
You guys did not see that.
Childhood.
You did not see that.
Really think about this
don't tell me otherwise.
Track, how it used to fit together, but it never really fit properly. And
there
that's
we
why
go.
The train would run off the tracks. And then after a year or two, it broke. Like there was little snaps to put it together. They snapped off. So my dad bought these sticky... like adhesive tape things, but they're made out of foam, like foam tape things. You would stick it at the bottom of the tracks to try to get it to hold together, and of course it wouldn't work properly, and the train would derail constantly, which is pretty funny. And it's funny because I swear to God, I've not thought about that since like I was a kid, and it just came to me the other day. I was like, damn, it's the things that come back to you when you start reminiscing about this stuff.
Whoa, man.
But let me give you some perspective about how different trimming a tree is today, all right, than it was back then. All right. Today, you can buy a fake Christmas tree. It's pre-lit, right? The lights are already installed. They're installed into the fucking branches. Like, it's all there and done for you. And our tree we have downstairs, it comes in 3 pieces. And all you do is you plug them together, and they're all connected to an electrical column in the center of the tree. And our tree we have downstairs, it comes in 3 pieces. And all you do is you plug them together, and they're all connected
has
to
to make a sound effect
electrical
for
column
that.
in the center of the tree, and it's done. and you plug it in, the fucking thing works. No. Oh my God. The original tree that we had, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you about this tree. I remember this fucking fake tree we had. Didn't even come in sections, all right? The original fake Christmas trees that we used to get when I was a kid were individual fucking branches. Yeah. So you would have a main column, all right? A main column that was like basically almost like think of like a coat rack, right? Just it's a main column with holes in it for pegs, and you would have a box full of fucking branches, and each branch would be labeled G, Z, D, G, A, a letter, and each branch would need to go into a specific area or hole of this centralized column of the fucking tree. So you're trying to do.
So I like he's telling us this, how annoying and painful it is, after telling us that his mom was doing majority of the work. The mom was doing the majority of the work, and he's like, the tree was such a pain, man. It had multiple branches. Man, no wonder, right? Why the mom wanted the tree to be her tree after her doing the majority of the work. Oh my God, I just love the reaction from the Burnell men. The mom's like, I did the majority of the work. You guys did nothing. This is my tree, and they're like, instead of just saying, they're like, yeah, you know what? Next time we'll do we'll divvy the work out fairly, and we'll help out. No, instead of that was, okay, fine, get our own trees. These people favored being lazy over helping their mom. I really can't believe that. That is crazy.
Do this, and the whole family's pulling branches out of the box, and there's like dozens of these things. Oh, does this go up here? Does this go down here? Well, we should start at the bottom and move up, because that way we could flesh out each branch, right? And space it out. It took so fucking long. It took hours to put this thing together, because you would have to put in each branch, hook it in, because if you don't hook it in, it's loose. All right, and it'll jiggle around. That's the last thing you want, because you start putting ornaments and shit on this, and it jiggles around. Now your whole tree's going to come down. So, you know, you would put each branch in, stretch out the limbs, right? Bush them out, bushy limbs, bush. And it would take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get the basic tree assembled. Finally, fuck. It took so long. We got the basic tree assembled. Now it's time for the lights. Now this was a daunting task because, ladies and gentlemen, back then, first of all, there were no trees sold where the lights were already on the tree. Did not exist, okay? You had to manually put the lights on the tree, and it would be these long strings of lights, which you can still buy today. I see them in the store. And the way that they worked is they were actual light bulbs. So think of a light bulb.
Think a light bulb,
right? When a light bulb lights up, there's a metal piece in the side of it, and it goes, dee, gets real hot. That's what Christmas lights were on trees.
Like that?
They were actual little light bulbs. And they were very volatile. Number one, they could break easily. They were made of real glass. So if you dropped a light and you stepped on it, that shit would shatter. And you'd have a big mess on your hands. If you were barefoot and you stepped on it, you're going to cut your foot open, all right? Number two, they got hot. So if your Christmas lights were on and someone just walks up and brushes the tree, you could get a burn on your arm. There were times when I was a kid, I would walk up and just brush the tree. Shh, I fucking burn right here on my arm. What the hell is this? Starts swelling up. Like, what the hell?
Do you still have that
You had to be
burn
careful
scar?
around that stuff. And the thing is, when you're putting the lights on the tree, you need them to kind of be on so you can see where you're putting them. So you're dealing with these hot ass lights as you're trying to get them on the Christmas tree as quickly as possible. The other thing that was the mother of all bitches when it came to Christmas lights back then was that, number one, blinker bulbs. I don't know how many of you even know what that means. Lights today, when you get them on a tree, usually there's a setting to have them blink or not blink, or they just blink out of the box, okay? Back then, that wasn't the case. Back then, you could take any set of lights, okay? Any set. And if you had what was called a blinker bulb that was compatible with that set, you could replace a bulb on that set of lights with what was called the blinker bulb, and now the lights would blink. The problem is, if the blinker bulb burned out, they would stop blinking. And it was like, well, that sucks. So the blinker bulb would actually be a regular colored bulb, but they would paint like the most minute amount of red paint. They would put at the very tippity tip of the bulb, and that's how you would see. So now imagine You're trying to remember what the blinker bulb is on this set. Oh, man. So now you're looking through, like, it's a 200 set of lights. You're going each light individually. Where's the blinker bulb? Where's the blinker bulb? They stopped blinking. Where's the blinker bulb? I don't understand. Where's the blinker bulb? And it was a really pain in the ass. And then, of course, the biggest mother bitch of anything when it came to lights back then. If one light blew out, the entire fucking set would go out. Yeah. The way it worked was it was a circuit. The lights were all a circuit, an individual circuit. So today, you know, you get these lights, or today you get the pre-lit trees. A light goes out, who gives a shit? There's one light out, not a big deal. Back then, if one light went out, you were done. You're in the dark. And it was like, oh my. So the lights would go out. Fuck, one of those bulbs went out. So you go, check this one. Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? And this is what you would do for hours. Going through each bulb. Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? There were Christmases, I remember, it would be like, you know, the day after Christmas, or the day before Christmas, or Christmas Day, and the bulbs would go out, and my parents would go, fuck it. We're not going to bother with that. It's too much work. You know, we're already stressed out. It's the holiday. Enough. We're not going to go through that fucking thing bulb by bulb. It's already over. We're taking the tree down next week. It's just going to go. We're not going to bother with it. So, well, it's so different, right? And so even back then, ornaments. So today you go to buy Christmas ornaments, right? The majority of Christmas ornaments you're going to buy today are either plastic or cloth, you know, something safe, because they try to make them family friendly now. They understand there's small kids, there's pets, right? Oh no, back then we would be very hard pressed to find an ornament that was not made of glass. And so, my God, there would be so many times, again, something would shake, someone would close the front door too hard, an ornament would fall off the tree, shatter all over the floor. Now you've got a big glass trap, right? And so now you got, my mom would come in with the vacuum. Oh, I gotta get all the pieces. Trying to get all the glass pieces of the thing that fell off the tree.
Look how, like, stressful he makes it all sound.
You know, so
like,
different
geez.
from today. And of course, back then, I was Catholic, or raised Catholic. Let me put it that way. Not that I was born Catholic. No. Everyone gets raised into a religion.
What?
You know, so different from today. And of course, back then, I was Catholic, or raised Catholic. Let me put it that way. Not that I was born Catholic. No. Everyone gets raised into a religion. I was raised as a Catholic, a Roman Catholic. And of course, you need the nativity. My mom was, you need to have.
I wasn't born Greek Orthodox. I was raised Greek Orthodox. Okay.
This nativity. And I remember we went through several
Shouts out
different
to
nativities over the
my
years.
Greek
The first
viewers.
nativity that we had was actually made of wood. It was this wooden fake faux stable that had like alfalfa shit on top, so it looked like hay or whatever. And we had plastic, the three wise men, three plastic wise men, and Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. And you position
baby
them,
Jesus?
donkeys. I remember donkeys and like a cow or a steer or something. And you would position all this shit, you know. And every year my mom was like, "Oh, gotta put up the
baby
nativity
Jesus
scene," and we put all this together and position. Every year we try to position it a little differently, so it looks a little different. And then, of course, we had the train. We try to position the train so it goes around and doesn't hit any of the characters as it goes around the tree. And ultimately, it would derail and run right into the nativity, which is hilarious. Just imagine that. Here's the nativity scene, right? The little Lord Jesus laid down. Holy shit, there's a train! And jump out of the way.
Man, that joke had potential.
Funny. That was pretty funny.
That joke had potential, and he killed it. He killed the baby joke. Before it could even
what else did we
crawl.
do? Shit, man. There were so many traditions and things that we did around Christmas time. We had mistletoe. It wasn't real. It was a
Did you
metallic,
kiss under it?
Not metallic, a wire ball. It was a ball made of like wires, and the wires had fake plants on it, and then there was like a little thing that was supposed to be like mistletoe, even though it really wasn't mistletoe, okay? It was on the bottom of it. And they would hang this above the hallway. It was the doorway between the main front hallway and to get into either the living room or the kitchen. So it would be funny because it would be like Christmas Day and we'd have relatives over, and of course you got one relative, I gotta use the bathroom. Another relative, oh, I want to see what's going on in the kitchen. And they'd crisscross under there, and someone would say, "You're under the mistletoe, you gotta kiss." And they'd be like, oh God, there'd be uncomfortable pauses, and some people would kiss, some people wouldn't, and it's always
what?
The living room or the kitchen. So it would be funny because it would be like Christmas Day and we'd have relatives over, and of course you got one relative, I gotta use the bathroom. Another relative, oh, I want to see what's going on in the kitchen. And they'd crisscross under there, and someone would say, "You're under the mistletoe, you gotta kiss." And they'd be like, oh God, there'd be uncomfortable pauses.
What the fuck? Oh my God, I am concerned about this family. This is such. Okay.
and some people would kiss, some people wouldn't.
Some people would kiss. I hope on the cheek. That's all I gotta say about that. I hope they didn't go get any more intimate than that.
It's always weird when you're with your family and people are like, you have to kiss under the mistletoe. It's like, now wait a minute, we're all family here. I don't think any of us really are interested in something romantic. But
then why did some what? So he says this. He agrees. It's weird, right? But before that, he said, well, some people would, some people wouldn't. What the fuck is this? Family is so fucking weird, dude.
But you know, Christmas tradition.
Christmas tradition.
What else? I actually remember that my dad used to put sometimes.
I'm surprised no one made a bigger deal than that out of that. To be honest, because I think this leads into the nativity scene being stolen, and that was the thing that got the most attention, not the implied incest. That got the most attention.
Lights on the outside of the house. Now these were big, colorful bulbs, and that was a pain in the ass too. I remember he used. It wasn't. I don't know if it was a staple gun. He had these plastic clips actually that would attach the lights to the siding of the house or to the gutter. Like, you know, gutters that go around the top of houses to kind of ferry off water and stuff from when it rains. So he would do that, and we had a Santa Claus, a big ass Santa Claus, plastic, and he would rotate like this. He'd be in a sleigh, he'd go like this, ho, 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 ho. I think eventually we turned off the sound because it was so fucking annoying, because he would go, oh no, I take it back, his arm would go like this, yeah. So he'd be going like this in the front yard, he would light up, and then we had a nativity scene. A nativity scene of the same thing, figurines, these colored figurines that would light up. Now, everyone likes to think, because I mean, let's be honest, I'm white, obviously I'm well-spoken, right? I'm obviously I'm educated, so people think that
I'm white, I'm well-spoken, I'm educated.
I grew up in like this affluent neighborhood. I grew up in Connecticut, right? So, oh my God, if he's in Connecticut, he must have been rich. No. Actually, where I grew up in Connecticut was a more ghetto-ish area. In fact, it was better when I was a younger kid, but as I was getting older, it was getting worse and worse, and there was actually a worse element kind of moving into the neighborhood that were bringing crime and all kinds of stuff.
Worst element.
You can believe it. One year we came home on Christmas Eve, because we had been off to my great aunt's house. What used to happen is we would all go to my great aunt's house for Christmas Eve.
I think there's a Connecticut city
together, and actually,
or whatever, like a town in Connecticut that's like the heroin capital of America. I brought this up in the past. Someone either corrected me on it or whatever, but I know there's one town in Connecticut that was like the heroin capital. My dad kept telling me about it. It's like, Theo, don't go there. That's the heroin capital of Connecticut. Don't go. I was like, okay, Dad.
Would dress up as Santa Claus and he would hand out presents to all the kids. We come home on Christmas Eve. Santa has been destroyed. His top half has been like ripped apart. So some motherfucker comes down the street, right? Oh, these white folk, right? Oh, fuck them. They put up fuck.
Wow. He starts off with saying a dangerous element moves in, right? Which is pretty vague. Whatever. Because, sure, okay, whatever. Let's say he's talking about criminals, right? And generally, right? And then follows it up by then saying, oh, these white people. But guys, DSP did not imply racism at all.
Fucking Santa Claus, he must have got a bat or something and came by and just started wailing on Santa and busted the thing into fucking pieces. Another year, I shit you not, another year, they stole the whole fucking nativity. So we're talking the whole thing. Mary, Joseph, the baby Jesus, the three wise men. There was like a donkey, all that plastic shit all lit up outside. We woke up, it was gone. Like, what the fuck? What? Now just think about this. You have to think about this. It's the nativity. So someone who obviously probably was Roman Catholic or even Christian stole it either to sell it or maybe to put it in their own yard. But you stole, you're supposed to be this religion that's about goodness. Thou shalt not steal is the 5th commandment. They stole the baby Jesus. It was crazy. And then it was funny because after a few years...
What if they were rescuing the baby Jesus? What if they were like, dude, baby Jesus is with a fucked up family that has implied incest. We gotta save him. What if?
For a couple years, And after a couple years where this shit kept happening to us, we were like, forget it. And we just stopped. We stopped doing the decorations outside because we're like, we can't. And it's sad. It really is sad because to see the degeneration of a neighborhood over the years, and that's what happened. It was when I was a young kid, my neighborhood where I grew up was a nice one. And then some people started to move away. More people started to move in. And unfortunately, the people who moved in were more... not to say that they were bad people, because some of them were actually really nice. One of my best friends next door was a kid who honestly didn't have a lot of money. He came from kind of a broken home, but he was an awesome...
This dude, this kid, he had a broken home. He was poor. I was his best friend. I loved him. Why don't you talk to him, then? Oh man, this
awesome kid. I had a lot of fun with him, hanging out with him, and doing stuff with him. He was one of my best friends when I was a kid. But it was a different group of people. You know what I mean? Like people who, it's not against my morality code to walk by and steal the fucking baby Jesus and just wail fucking Santa's head off and not have a second thought about it. So pretty sad in that regard. But so that was the end of our outdoor decorations. And traditionally, we never used to do this. It's funny. I never used to do this, but then we eventually, as I got older, the tradition was that on Christmas Eve, we would all exchange one gift. We'd find one gift to kind of exchange. And then later on, I remember, as I got older, and really there weren't that many gifts to give anymore. It was more about, well, whatever gifts we have, just exchange them on Christmas Eve, because we want to sleep in on Christmas Day. And that's what we would do on Christmas Eve. At night, we'd all have we'd have tea and maybe cookies or something, and we'd all exchange all our gifts then and get it out of the way, so that way it wasn't like we have to do it the next day. We just fucking sleep in and have a nice day, a nice, calm, relaxing day to ourselves on Christmas Day, rather than worrying about, oh God, I have to do all this gift giving and stuff on the next day. But I do remember, I could tell you definitively the moment that I found out that Santa Claus was not real.
Oh my God, the
I
same
was watching
story.
television. And I was watching QVC with my mom, okay? With my mom, and my mom loves the home, she still to this day, she fucking watches the Home Shopping Network like crazy. She still ordered, just the other day, I'm not even kidding you, yesterday I was on stream, and the door, there was a knock at the door. I opened the door, there's a package, it's styrofoam, what the fuck's this? I bring it in, I didn't order anything. I open it up, dry ice, it's ribs, barbecue ribs. My mom ordered us 2 giant wraps.
Oh my God, dude, like, his mom might have a problem. Who orders something, doesn't tell the son, like, or anything to expect a package? Like, I would be fucking scared, but whatever. Well, not maybe
barbecue
not.
ribs.
Whatever.
She does this all the time. She'll order stuff, like, you don't even know what's going on. She'll order you stuff, and it just appears out of nowhere. She loves the Home Shopping Network. So, excuse me.
She loves it.
I am watching QVC with my mom, and one of the hosts of QVC says, oh, isn't it a shame when the kids finally find out that Santa isn't real and finally see that light taken out of their eyes? Isn't that a shame? And it was hilarious because the other host turns to the woman like, no, don't say that on the air, you idiot. Like there might be kids watching. And I turned to my mom, I said, Santa's not real. And that was it. And since then, I lost all my innocence.
Again, that was another lie, because he told us in 2013 that he stayed up late one night to see Santa and he saw his parents. But now it's QVC. I swear he probably saw an article and thought to himself, hey, that's funny, I'm gonna take it. Who's gonna stop me? The kid ain't gonna say shit.
Now I swear it's all about, sex, drugs, rock and roll, drinking. I mean, that was it. When my innocence was lost that day, that was it. And I've been a horrible, horrible person ever since. Bah humbug. But it's actually funny because then as I was growing up, we would go over to my great aunt's house. And like I said, my great uncle would dress up as Santa. And I knew there was no Santa. And so my parents would be like, don't tell the other kids that there's no Santa. Play along. You got to play along. It was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
I could go on for days. Like, there's so much shit about Christmas, and I don't think that I want to go too much further tonight, simply because there's more. I could tell you all about the celebrations I used to have at my great aunt's house. I could tell you about what would happen the next day when we would go over to my godfather's house. I could tell you about going to church at Christmas, which was an ordeal in itself. There's a lot of stuff I could cover, but I think I kind of covered the gist of the stuff I wanted to talk about tonight, kind of the decorations and the trimming and that stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this back in the day segment. I haven't done one in a while, and people really enjoy when I do one. So I certainly hope that you enjoyed this segment. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you very much for watching Hate Live, episode 39. I don't know if we're going to do another one. I don't know if we're going to have another official podcaster. Now, I can tell you this, it certainly won't be in the year of 2015, okay? If we do another one, it'll be sometime in 2016, and I don't know what the format's going to be, because if I'm doing more vlogging, as I've discussed in this very video, then really, you know, when the PlayStation Experience happened, that night I would have done a vlog.
I kind of think
right?
2014
covered all the stuff, so I wouldn't have had to talk about it.
was a better Christmas holiday special. This one seemed kind of phoned in.
This
does seem kind of obligatory. Like, oh, I have to do one
of podcasts. All right. So we'll see. Let's see.
This
podcast
seemed pretty lame.
And like I said, here's the thing. Maybe instead of doing a podcast, if I'll just do a back in the day segment about a holiday coming up, and that'll be a whole vlog video. That'll be the vlog. You know, the whole segment would have been this 15 minutes of me talking about Christmas rather than a 2.5 hour podcast. You know what I mean?
And that never happened. He never
we'll see
did
what
that.
Happens moving forward. Stay in touch with me, obviously. I know a lot of people only watch the stuff I put up on this vlogging channel. At least make an effort to follow me on Twitter. I always point to the wrong one. They call me DSP, because I'm constantly putting up updates and stuff over there. And a lot of you who are watching this Hate Live might not even known that I put up an important video over on DSP Gaming this week, because I didn't
This is
mention
like
it
the
on
third
this
time
channel
you told
yet,
about this important video.
Thank you for
that's
watching.
not really
I'd like to say,
impressive.
whatever holiday
when he just
you
summed it up
celebrate,
in like
even if you
one
don't
in
celebrate
this
a holiday.
video.
First of all, happy holidays if you do. I at least wish you a peaceful, enjoyable December if you don't celebrate a holiday. If you do, please be safe. Don't go crazy. Don't stress out. This is supposed to be a time of the year when it's fun and festive and interesting. It's not supposed to be a time of the year where, like, oh my God, Christmas. I hate Christmas because I got my presents and then I gotta fucking do dinner and the family's coming over. We gotta go to church and do this and that. And it's easy to make it kind of become like that. And
Oh
you're
my
almost like,
God.
bah humbug. Understand
This dude
that when
lives.
you're younger, that stuff is there and it's gonna go away. I mean,
This dude talks like a fucking Hallmark card.
Guys, your family's gonna go away. Don't take it for granted, guys.
It's like he regretted his own childhood and he's like pushing on to us now.
I mean, right now, I'll be honest, you know, at this time of my life, right, I don't have any family that I celebrate with. Last year, I was lucky enough to have my parents
Leanna.
visit, not this year. And I don't have any family out here in Washington, so it's going to be a very private Christmas between myself and Leanna this year, and that's fine. There's nothing
that's
wrong with
fine.
that. But if you have this family,
I just love every fucking time with Leanna, specifically Leanna. He gets immediately defensive to make sure that we know that it's not real family. Oh, I don't have any family here. Yeah, Leanna's here, but like it's totally different. Like, wow, Leanna got shit on even before the breakup.
family style Christmas don't take you for granted, because a lot of people do. And then next thing you know, it went away. I'll be honest, when I was having a family Christmas every year, it would get tedious, and I'd be like, man, when are we just going to go home and I could open my presents? And then when I started getting older, like teen years into young 20s, and we didn't have that anymore because a lot of my family fell out of touch and didn't even talk to each other anymore. It had nothing to do with me.
Wow,
like
they didn't
parents
talk to each
and
other.
other people getting into feuds and shit, which always happens with families. And it kind of went away. The family style Christmas went away. And when it went away, it was kind of like, damn, here's a big gap. Here's a big thing that I feel missing, because it really was a cool.
Why don't you talk to your family then? Like, and recently there's a clip of him saying like, well, I think I could find it actually, because a lot of people did a little clippy clip of it. Let's see, pre-stream man. Oh boy. Oh, here we go.
Ruby! To the super chat says, what happened to the cousin that lived with you? Do you keep in contact, and do they like your gaming content? I have no idea. The cousin moved out and had her own life, and ups and downs, got into trouble sometimes. So I've mentioned her briefly over the years. Sadly, issues she's had in her life with drug abuse and things. I have no idea where she is or what she's doing. I asked my parents, and they're like, nah. Seriously, like they don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about it.
So, oh well.
Oh well.
Ruby, drug abuse. So, oh well.
That response, it kind of pisses me off a little bit, but like, because what pisses me off the most about that is he didn't even talk to her. He talked to his parents about it, and his parents might have a completely different experience with the cousin than him. And my parents didn't talk to him, so well. The reason why I bring this up is why does he need his parents to talk to other family members when he could talk to them himself? You know? It's like, well, my mom didn't talk to my aunt, so why would I talk to her? Like, because she's your family? I don't know, like, come on.
Cool feeling to have family when I was a kid, and it's
And I just love, oh my god, this dude pushes family, but then, oh, Phil, what about your cousin? Oh, well. Like, what did the cousin do to him? Like, that response.
talk about it. So, oh well.
Okay.
On now. Right now, besides my parents and maybe one or two other family members that I could think of off the top of my head, I don't really have family who I could call and talk to or reminisce or do anything with. And
Why?
It's a shame. You know,
How do you-
family is actually a critical part of life because they're your support structure. They're the people who, when shit goes wrong, you can rely on them and you always know you can talk to them. And
What
they're
if
a
you
shoulder to
can't? What if
cry
they
on, but they're
can't?
also there to help you out and to give you
What if they don't
advice.
help you out?
Family may seem like a hassle when you're young, but as you get older, you realize how valuable it is.
But what if as you get older, you realize how shitty they are and toxic, dude? It's the same, like, semantics or devil's advocate I have with him, because it's just, it's kind of annoying to be told, your family's important to you. You need to talk to your family. Oh my god, family. Like, yeah, family is, like, family, but, like, come on, we don't need to hear it every day. You know what I mean?
And don't let that go. Don't take it for granted and don't lose it because you get older, you get grumpy or whatever. No, I'm telling you.
You get older, you get
Definitely,
grumpy?
Definitely
What?
cherish what you have when you have it, okay? Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday it is. And of course, I'll say this too, since I'm not going to be doing a podcast, Happy New Year to everyone coming up because it will be 2016, all right? And that is about it for tonight's Hate Live podcast. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh,
Thank
I
you
enjoyed
for
it.
watching.
Alright.
I will say this. Please, if you enjoyed this podcast, leave a comment and give it a like. And I know I never used to do that before, but the bottom line is I need to start doing it now. I kind of have to use the methods that other YouTubers have used.
Remember, guys, he never did this in the past, but now he did it in the past, and now he does it in the future. He does it all the time.
Used over the years to be successful that I've ignored. I kind of need to start using them now because if I want to keep doing this, I have to make sure that people are doing the things that are going to get my stuff positive attention. So if you like this podcast, please like it. Please leave a comment below. And that is it. Thank you, everyone, for watching the holiday edition of Hate Live for 2015. I'm DSP. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll see ya in 2016.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
Peace out. Bye. Peace out. Goodbye. So we have a few more videos to watch, actually. I think I need to update this. Now that I'm looking at it. Maybe. 2016, I don't know where I could find it. I want to say it's here, but why isn't it there? You know what I mean?
Hello, everyone, and
Hello,
welcome.
everyone. Christmas special. Let's see what that gets me. I don't want the tree stuff. I'm not doing it. No. I ain't sitting through that. Let's see. 2017 emergency, 2015 special. We watched that one. Change is coming. You know, at some point, I kind of want to watch some of these old Hate Live videos. So, maybe some special vlogs. State of the stream. Oh boy. DSP Gaming gone for now. 2017. Atlas, what the fuck, man? Oh, laid off. Huge update. Wish I had good news. Oh, I guess he didn't do one. Well, it is what it is. I still love this video. This video is my favorite video.
Actual healthy behavior. When people like you and me see something like this, they're like, are you fucking kidding me? So there's a bunch of people who just sit here and make fun of DSP 24/7. Yes.
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 Yeah.
And this particular person who is pretending to be someone else, pretending to be a nice person, and became a moderator, is one of these people, all right? And they talked about the plan publicly here. Eventually, people got wind of it. They told me about it, and I shut it down tonight. So, thank God that there are people out there who do keep their eyes and ears open, and they caught this ahead of time, and it didn't negatively affect
by the way.
my streaming capabilities, all right? It would have been a disaster.
Back then.
Now, to make matters even worse, as if you won't believe it, because I didn't believe it until I was like, holy shit, I just realized it. This person, all right, who pretended to be a nice person, whatever. This person is the same person and or involved with the same group of people who in 2015 posted up fan art on my forums so that I could use it in my video.
I don't think he was.
And then when I used that fan art in my videos, they gave me false copyright strikes on YouTube. And because of that, my channels on YouTube were in jeopardy of being shut down, and my business was going to be shut down. So I had to remove some 600 videos that contained fan art because of this, because this stupid loophole that YouTube had where people could make videos and lose 3 million views. It means of these people who broke the law and filed false copyright claims against me. It's the same fucking people.
Same people.
I don't know what to say or do anymore, but I'm just so fucking tired at this point. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Since day one, all I've ever wanted to do.
Oh man, remember his little Twitch channel? Oh man, those were the days. Oh, Soap. Shouts out.
Play games on YouTube, have fun, share those experiences with others. Not even just YouTube, Twitch, or whatever. Share that with you and have a good laugh. And that's all I ever wanted to do. These people are so sick that they actually want to destroy me. Like, they want to get me off of YouTube, put me in financial ruin, and I don't know what they think I'm going to do with my life after that. It's certainly not like I could run out and get another job that's going to pay as much as me doing YouTube and Twitch.
YouTube and Twitch?
This is a pretty fucked up situation.
What can he do?
So, it's almost 9 p.m. my time. Normally, I start work around 6:30 p.m. after dinner. So, I just lost about 2.5 hours of time when I should have been working on my year-end series. I now have to try to rush to get a year-end series.
Cat Carthane. Well, is there a short version? Oh my god, that's 672. No way. I don't want to say that's 672. That sounds a little mean. Park Fiction
series video out tonight. More than likely, it's gonna get out, but I'm gonna be working super late, tired as hell, and I just wanted to share this with you. This is what I'm going through at this point, and I will say this: 2016. I felt was a good year because I didn't have this kind of shit. After all the false copyright
2016 was a good year.
And shit in 2015.
Wrong.
That screwed me
2021
over.
was a good year, dumbass.
It was a really positive year.
Wake up.
KO Gaming coming out and getting popular for a while there, and people coming out for videos and streams and really enjoying everything that I did on YouTube. And pretty much all the feedback I got was that I'm doing good. I was having fun, and I'm still having fun. I just want you to understand, I'm not getting discouraged and I'm not quitting, but this stuff is just, it's out of control at this point. How the fuck could you be a part of something like that and think that it's okay? You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Trying to destroy my life. I don't get it. I just don't get, how can you do that to someone? I'm lost. Maybe because I'm a rational human or I'm a good human. I have moral.
DSP is a good human, guys. Alright, I think that's it. That's all I'm gonna do for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next Christmas video, whenever that may be. Have a good week, everyone. Have a good night. Stay frosty, stay safe, stay whatever. And I hope to see ya next time. Hopefully I'll do fucking SMT3 next time. SMT3's been going well. I just have to fucking buy some McTamas. But thank you for watching. I'll see ya when I see ya. Bye-bye!